It is 7 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Checking the weather. Patchy morning fog, otherwise partly sunny and warm, turning less humid this afternoon. Beautiful day coming up. 83 for the high. Like I said, less humid. Tonight, mostly clear. Comfortable, low of 63. Then mostly sunny tomorrow with a high of 84. On Wednesday, partly to mostly sunny with a high of 84 again. So, yeah, the next 3 days. And it goes on after that. It looks good. But the next 3 days are going to be really, really nice, which is very, very good.
Nice.
Cloudy and 64 now, high of 83, and much less humid later on today. Just some headlines kicking off the show. I love this headline, the laziest time for workers.
Monday through Friday between 9 and 5, right?
It's not Monday morning.
No?
That's what it says. Huh. By the way, the laziest time for workers is when they get into radio. Okay? Laziest sons of bitches I've ever known have been in radio. That's been my whole career.
Okay, I'm trying to think what would be the laziest time. Maybe like either a Friday because you're finishing up the week, or middle of the week Wednesdays always seem just kind of bleak.
I don't understand something. How do you get lazy when you're being paid to do a job? If you're being paid for it, how do you get lazy once you earn the money?
You've
right?
never felt lazy about a job.
This is radio. It's pretty hard to be lazy sitting bullshitting with people on a microphone.
But like you've felt lazy about stuff.
No, I really haven't.
Like a job, like you're not feeling it, you're tired.
Oh, I'm tired, but it's not a lazy thing. I still do the job, and I don't know. Maybe they misused the word lazy here.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to read the article. Let's be honest. No one is operating at peak efficiency all week long. There are some lulls. No, I agree with that. They're lulls, but that's not laziness.
Yeah.
They're lulls. Monday mornings is one of them, but it is not when workers are the laziest. A new study used computers to determine when workers are the most and least productive. They looked at metrics like typing speed, typing errors, mouse activity, and it was comprehensive. The data was from almost 800 workers over the course of 2 years. In the end, they found that workers are the laziest and least productive in the office on Friday afternoon, which probably makes sense because you want to get the hell out of there for the weekend.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mondays are also on the lower end. They're not the as lazy as Friday afternoon, but Mondays. So in other words, when you're getting into the week, it sucks, and when you're leaving the week, it sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm so happy you got a job you love.
Listen, everything ebbs and flows. You can't be at 100% all the time, always.
I love the way you said that. You can't be at 100% all the time. Like
you
what
can't
you just
open
said.
your mouth every time you want to say something.
Palomino. A perfect example right there. I thought you were Dean Martin for a second.
You can't say all the time, always.
Well, Pally, I was talking to the guy.
Listen to the guy.
I was laying on my floor in my den with Richard Jennings, and then he looked down at me.
Richard Jennings.
Is that who that
is?
is?
Richard Jennings.
Wasn't Richard Jennings one of the guys you used to drink with? I probably screwed that up.
I don't know, but I thought it was a funny story.
Joey Bishop. That's who I don't know why I said.
Who's Richard Jennings?
Richard Jennings. That sounds.
Well, you're almost
Peter
Kenny.
Jennings.
Yeah.
Ken Jennings isn't that
Ken
the
Jennings,
Jeopardy guy?
That is, yeah. I gotta look it up because now Richard Jennings is on the mind. I know he's a guy, isn't he? It's somebody famous. I don't know why he would have got into my psyche if I hadn't, but Richard Jennings. He's an actor for sure.
He is. Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely an actor.
Peter Jennings. You got what's the other one you just mentioned?
Ken Jennings.
Ken Jennings.
Ken Jennings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. It all works out in the end. As a matter of fact, this will kind of tie into something that I noticed yesterday. People's names. Mm-hmm. I don't think parents are as good at giving good names to their children as they used to be.
Why?
I'll give you a couple examples when we find out who Richard Jennings is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Famous.
Richard Jennings. He was in a couple of movies: Born to Race, Modern Love, My Sweet Misery. Looks like he's got a couple of like TV credits as well.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I must have known this guy from. It looks like maybe American Playhouse, but because I remember watching that when I was a kid. American Playhouse, 1986. Yeah, anyway. But Richard Jennings. Anyway, brilliant actor. One of the best thespians of our day.
Everybody knows
Obviously.
Richard
Everybody knows Richard
Dick
Jennings.
Jennings?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Dick.
You're going to want to hang out with him.
Way back.
No question about it, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm sitting around yesterday kind of doing some of this, some of that. I went for long walks, had a really wonderful time. Then I watched a little television. Do people not pay attention when they're naming their children, do you think?
I mean, there's a lot going on usually, so I could see something. I'm scared to defend this person. What did they name their kid? Just tell me.
This is from a true crime series. I don't even know what it's on, but it's a true crime series. So it's I mean, the guy does a good job, but his last name is Holes, Holes.
Okay.
And his first name is Paul. You named your kid P-Holes? Really?
P holes, Paul holes.
Why don't you just go with A-Holes? That might have been better. You know what I mean? Wouldn't you? Sorry, but I wouldn't name my kid P-Holes if my last name was Holes.
Well, we had a nurse that was really worried for us when we named our kiddo Margot Frances Arneson. She thought our last name started with an R, and she goes, well, just a heads up, you don't want her initials to be MFR. And I was like, so
Why
like we
not?
had somebody looking out for us.
I like that, actually.
Like
Yeah.
I was one of those things where I didn't even realize, like, there was a lot going on. So you're like, oh, wait, should we start really thinking? So I was like writing it down, seeing the initials, what would it be, all this stuff.
MFer.
Yeah, like MFer was not what she was going for.
Why would you think Arneson started with an R?
I think she just saw our name quick and she was like clarifying and like doing it very nicely. I had just had her. So she was like, just double checking, like, what's the last name? And oh, okay. Because we were sitting here going, well, do we want Francis, all this stuff? So I think there's a lot. I think you can skip things. I wouldn't think of P holes for Paul holes.
Well, if you wrote it down, a lot of people like T. Bernard.
Yeah,
P-Holes.
P holes for sure.
But the one, and look, I mean, this might be something that very few people know about, but that picture yesterday. And by the way, Twins with a hell of a victory yesterday. That was nice.
That's what I hear.
I watched the entire game, as a matter of fact. They did a really nice job coming back and winning that game.
It's at the last. Well, we'll hear about it with Bob.
Bottom
and you.
of the ninth.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Bottom of the ninth, they came back and won the game. But the pitcher, his last name is Keuchel. Does that word mean anything to the two of you?
The first syllable might be hard on the ears for some people, but yeah.
That's where it comes from,
Yeah.
is the word Keuchel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Keuchel means in Yiddish is circle. Because when people who were not Jewish came to the United States and they didn't know how to speak or write English, they just had them put an X down, which would signify, I guess, the fact that they were Christian. It was a cross. And it was an X, actually, but they looked at it as a cross.
Okay.
So then when the Jews came in, if they weren't Christian, they had them put a circle, a zero.
Okay.
Instead of, because it would, I don't know why we had to know what religion people were. I have no idea why that. But circle, and in Yiddish, that's pronounced Keuchel.
Okay.
That's where the shortened version of that word came along to refer to, in a negative way, to Jews.
All right.
But have we forgotten about that part of history? I don't know if I keep the last name Keuchel if I was named.
You know what, though?
Keuchel,
It really does take the sting out of it when a racist calls a Jewish person that name now. Because every time I hear that, I'm just going to go, you just called them a circle. Big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
call them a circle.
Call them a
That's-
circle.
yeah,
What's the
there you
difference?
go.
I'd love it if somebody called me a circle.
You've been a square for so long.
Yeah, you took
Whoa.
it, you son of a bitch. You took it. Yep.
It
Yes.
all works out in the end. But yes, crosses and circles, and we get nicknames, and people get called bad things, and it just, I don't know if they referred to other immigrants as a shortened version of a circle or a crow, I guess would be cross, which doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought, the guy probably doesn't even know what if his name means circle.
Maybe he does. Maybe he does, and it's one of those things where he's like, "Well, it's
birth
my
name.
grandpa's name, it's my dad's name, and we've got a long history with it." And
You know
they
what's hilarious? You just gave me 2 reasons to change my name.
Well, you didn't,
Because of my grandfather and my father.
but you didn't.
Oh, I got to tell you something. This is kind of cool, actually. But it upset some people in the family, which is unfortunate. As I told you, my dearest aunt, and I liked all my aunts, don't get me wrong, but Mary Ann and I were very, very close, and I'm so happy I saw her just before she died, but her obituary came out, and it said in there, when she was 20 years old, she moved in with her sister-in-law, Toots, and her family, and lived with them for a while. Didn't even mention her own brother. Which I thought was very cool, actually.
Yeah.
Because, Robert, my father, Bob, was her
Oh,
oldest
yeah,
brother.
yeah.
I just love the fact she
That's
didn't
fine.
even mention him.
Yeah. If you're paying by the word, you're like, which people
Right.
can we omit out
Right.
of this? It's not going to
Totally.
really make a big deal. Yeah.
I wish you guys could have met her because she was one sweet human being, very smart, very nice, always kind to people. We lost a lot when we lost her, man. There's no doubt about it. What are you going to do? But in any case, so now look at the education that people have gotten in the first 10 minutes of this show.
You're welcome.
You're
I stepped up, opened my mouth a
yeah,
little
you
bit
did.
less.
You certainly did. I don't know why this would have made the national news. I'm assuming something either went really well or really poorly. Because the headline is, a mom asked a couple to swap seats at Barbie so her kid could sit with her. How does that make national news? I haven't clicked on it yet.
Well, obviously, there was somebody freaked out, right?
Why?
Because people are insane.
If somebody came over and said, hey, could you move one seat down? I'd go, oh, no, we can't. Oh, God, that's...
I'll be honest. I would say, like, I would be willing to switch with somebody, maybe, but I'm not going to just move to somebody's seat because everybody has designated seats. So soon somebody's going to come in and go, hey, that's my
Yeah,
spot,
that
and you're going to be moving around like crazy. So I'd even be willing to be like, let's wait till the movie starts and we can figure this out.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Because you're right. You could be sitting in someone else's seat. That's
Yeah,
true.
and then it's going to be a whole thing. And then I'm going to
Yeah.
have anxiety every time somebody comes in and be like, are they going to, oh, no, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
It happened at Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
did it?
yeah. Because long story short, so when we were in Portland, I went with Corolla and his guy Mike. And Mike August is a guy who does not give two shits about everybody else. He's funny in that way, but he's like, I got your tickets. I was like, all right. So I waited in line to get beers and popcorn for everybody. They went into the theater. I walk in. Mike raises his hand. Hey, these are our seats. So I go and I sit down. As soon as I sit down, this guy taps me on the shoulder and goes, that's my seat. I was like, Mike, you son of a bitch. I was like, yeah, now you make it look like I'm the guy who did that. I didn't.
Hate that.
Oh, it was awful. I was like, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Yeah. So.
Do they do all assigned seats now at theaters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And why do they do that?
Well, I went to one over in kind of like by Northeast, that old theater, Riverwalk or whatever. Anyways, they didn't
Riverview.
Yeah, Riverview.
Yeah, that's a good
They
one.
don't have assigned seats there.
No, they do not.
But I think almost every other theater does.
Okay, so here's the story. This is kind of like trying to swap a middle seat for one in first class. Some guy posted on Reddit's Am I the Asshole section. I didn't know that Reddit had an Am I the Asshole section.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This weekend, after a mom asked him to switch seats in a movie theater, he and his girlfriend went to see Barbie on Friday, and he bought tickets early so they'd have good seats reserved. But when they got there, a woman and her 6-year-old daughter were in their seats. He told the mom she was in the wrong spot, and she was aware. She said that when she bought the tickets, there were only 2 left, one in the front row and one way in the back. So she was hoping they'd switch. So this is why it made the news, because she wanted this guy to sit way up front or way in the back.
Yeah.
So you could have the comfortable, beautiful seats that I paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the guy. This woman's a pain in the ass.
I would not. It's so wild to me that first off, you're going to gamble with you're not going to sit with your daughter.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that's just,
Yep.
what? You don't need to go to Barbie that bad. It's not like a medical procedure that needs to get done. You wait next week. If
Yeah,
you
go
order
next
your
week.
tickets this right now for next week, you'll get pristine spots.
He said no, that he wouldn't switch seats, told her it wasn't really his problem. But again, so he and his wife or girlfriend or whomever, he and his girlfriend, it says here, couldn't sit together if they swapped seats.
Yeah.
Want to be in the front way. Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
I came to see this with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So I understand. He claims he politely asked her to move. Then she told him he was being rude and inconsiderate. Someone else overheard them and offered up their seats instead. So that was the end of it, or almost. After the movie, the guy's girlfriend told him he should just have said fine, and that would have been the right thing to do. So now he's not sure if he was being a jerk. No, you were not being a jerk. I would like to sit with my girl. And then the girlfriend criticized him. I don't really understand that at all.
Yeah.
No, I bought these tickets so you and I could sit together and watch the movie. No, the biggest mistake the guy made is he bought a ticket for himself to Barbie. That's the biggest mistake the guy made.
Well, let me ask you: did he buy the tickets for him and his girlfriend both?
That's what it says here.
Okay, because this is the type of stuff that drives me bonkers. Is that this guy probably? I'm just speculating.
Yeah, you are.
Yes.
I know it.
But
Certainly.
but this guy probably, busts his hump, buys the tickets, goes, brings them out.
Bust his hump. Let me just lower that bar a
his
little
hump.
more.
That's what I do every day.
Not at
Jumps
all.
online, buys tickets. Okay, busts his hump.
No, I'm saying that
sweats.
what I mean
bleeds.
is that he has a job Monday through Friday that he works hard for, then brings home the dough, and then probably before the show he took her out and paid for drinks. But he still has to go sit through Barbie with her.
Yes.
Because there's not a chance in
No,
hell.
you guys have no idea. You are
Got a huge idea.
You're already speculating the food they ate before, that he paid for the tickets, and see that he doesn't want to see Barbie.
Yeah. Because that's what good radio people do.
Did you, when,
We
who
speculate and make accusations.
Who made you go to Barbie?
Nobody, but what I'm saying.
So
But-
there is a plausible world that a human male wanted to go see a movie.
Yeah, Tom, let me ask you. You bring in, I would say, a majority of the dough into the family, right? Do you ever get a chance to go do any of the things that you want to go do, or is it mostly Catherine going, hey, by the way, we're going to this thing, and then you follow?
That's pretty much the deal.
See what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
but have you met Tom? Do you think he's out there making plans? Like, we're going to go here, honey, and we're going to go here. Without Catherine, I'm sorry, you probably would be shut-ins.
We shut-ins. I like it. Yeah. That works for me. Being a shut-in works for me. By the way, we got Sandy coming up in a second here, but I do want to get back to Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go to the movie in the theaters. I watched there was a movie on television called The Real Story, I think it was called. Oppenheimer, The Real Story. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
God, did you see it?
No, I've heard good things, though. They
God,
talked.
it was good.
And some people even said that it's smart to go see that before you go see the movie, because then you'll have appreciation for, like.
Well, you don't have
some-
to go see it. It's on television.
No. Some people are saying go watch the show you watched before you go see Oppenheimer.
Well, I could see that. That'd be a good idea.
Because it really enhances the movie.
I could see that to be true because this thing, it's called Oppenheimer, The Real Story.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good, except for, he died very young. He was treated like dog shit by everybody. Here's a guy that just actually did his job, and it was his fault when everything went. This man was brilliant. He did his job, and he was shunned by well, that's what people do.
Yeah.
The people, it's like, this is your fault. Also, the fact that, hundreds of thousands of people. How many people died in Japan from the bombing?
The first one was 70,000.
70,000. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It was like 180,000 people or something like that. Something like that.
That's just like, your brain can't even allow you to think like that, what that would be.
Yeah.
It's true. But yeah, I think even if you've seen Oppenheimer already, I would definitely watch The Real Story because it is really, really good. It's an hour and 25 minutes long, so it just you blow right through it.
Thank God, because Oppenheimer was so
3
long.
hours. I can't do it.
So long.
I can't. I still haven't seen John Wick 4 because it's 3 hours long.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and at least in John Wick 4, there's some ass-kicking and
Right,
action going on.
right.
Oppenheimer is just like 6 guys in a conference room screaming at each other on a giant screen. It's really boring.
I'll just close with this because we got to get to Bob in a second here. But Oppenheimer, I don't know how tall he was, but let's say he was 6 feet tall. By the end of his life, he had gone through so much stress and strain. I am not kidding you when I tell you that his legs were not even as big as your forearm. His arms were the size of a pencil, and his legs are literally were the size of your arms.
Oh, my God.
He was rail thin. But because he was, again, he did what they asked him to do. He didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But he did what they asked him to do. And then when the repercussions came from him, it was all his fault.
Yeah.
I just love human beings in that way. I really
That's
do.
so sad.
It's terrible what happened to him. But yeah, if you get a chance, watch it. It's really, really good. We got to take a break. If you get a chance, I just tune out because Sandy's up next.
Yeah,
really.
go talk with your loved ones.
Yeah, you don't want to go through this, do you? Sandy. He'll be very appreciative of this. We'll be right back right after this on MyPillow's 20-year anniversary with over 80 million pillows sold. MyPillows, of course. Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank each and every one of you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. Queen size MyPillow's regular price is $69.98, now only $19.98, and just $10 more for king size. MyPillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact level, the individual needs to help you get the best sleep ever. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square to get Mike's amazing offer on the queen size MyPillow for only $19.98. Enter promo code TOM. In addition to the special anniversary offer on the MyPillows, you'll also receive deep discounts on all MyPillow products, such as bed sheets, mattress toppers, pet beds, mattresses, My Slippers, and so much more. Take advantage of the biggest sale in MyPillow history. Go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to take advantage of Mike's special offer on his MyPillow. That's MyPillow.com, promo code TOM.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? Hi, I'm Dr. Adam Schatzko with mnfatloss.com, and I know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no surgery, and no hypnosis, go online to mnfatloss.com.
If you're interested in losing weight, I highly recommend the MN Fat Loss Program. I started the program earlier this year. I've lost 28 pounds. Honestly, it's been easy. I don't have to exercise. I eat delicious real food, and I'm not hungry. I recommend the program to anyone wanting to lose weight.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 763-312-7600 or schedule online at mnfatloss.com. That's mnfatloss.com.
Dr. Adam Schatzko, DC. Results may vary.
Hi, I'm Mike Bryant, and I'm driving my car safely and legally communicating on my phone. Minnesota law allows a driver to use their cell phone to make calls, text, listen to music or podcasts, and get directions by voice command or single-touch activation without holding your phone. Violations are very expensive.
The National Safety Council reports that cell phone use while driving leads to 1.6 million crashes per year, and nearly 400,000 injuries are caused by texting and driving. Not surprising, since 4 seconds with your eyes off the road is like driving the length of a football field blindfolded. And research shows that just 2 seconds increases the risk of an accident up to 24 times. Texting may only take a second, but it can end your life or ruin it forever. Please, drive safely and stay alive.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
7:23. No, Sandy, we're not even on the air and he's making noise.
That wasn't me.
That was you pain in the ass.
Nope, I didn't touch a thing.
You know what? I talked to your lovely daughter yesterday. You are so lucky. You're unbelievable.
How'd you run into her? Or did you just give her a ring-a-ding?
No, I called her on the phone, and she must be a lot like her mother, because she's nothing like you.
Yeah. She's all me, pal. All me.
It is all Sandy. No, she is a very, very smart kid, very nice kid. And she is a kid to me. That's all I'm saying. She'll always be a little kid to me, though, because I've known her since she was born.
She is to me, too.
I understand, Sandy. Now, Sandy, we just talked about a story where this woman she bought tickets and she couldn't sit with her daughter because there weren't 2 tickets together. And then she just decided she could sit in these 2 seats. And then the people who showed up for their seats got in this, it wasn't really a battle, got in a little bit of a tiff with him because she didn't want to move and said he was being a jerk. And he said, well, I paid for these seats. I don't want to sit apart from, my date, all the rest of it, right? So I have a question for you. So, because his girlfriend then said it as on the way home, maybe we should have just let her sit in those 2 seats and go from there. I have a question for you. So during the break, I was thinking about this. So let's say you go to Murray's downtown Minneapolis. And this would never happen at Murray's because Tim and everybody else in the Murray family does a great job and have for 4 generations. But you go in there and you order the best steak they have on the menu. And another person comes in and sits down and sees that the best steak in the house is being delivered to your table. And then they find out that was the last one. So if they come over and go, you know what, that was the last one, I was going to redirect them and just have the steak for myself. Is it okay if I just have your steak and you have another one? What would be the difference?
Right.
It's like, no, this is my seat. This is my steak. I'm not being a pain in the ass. It's not my fault these were the last 2 seats available. It's not my fault that there was the last steak available. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
So why can't we get to that point? Why do there have to be arguments?
Well, the first instance, the woman should have gotten up. They weren't her seats.
That's exactly right, Bob. But there are some people that thought he was a jerk because he didn't want to give his seats away to her.
No.
I agree, Bob.
Okay, the only time that to me is not a big deal is on an airplane when there's still seats left, and if there's another aisle seat, because I love the aisle seat. Don't stick me in the middle between a couple of hefties. You know,
hefties. What is wrong with you?
It's really nice, Bob.
Well, okay, we all have been through this. When you got your seat and there's one next to you, the middle one, for instance, and here comes 2-ton Tessie down the aisle where they have to they can't turn sideways because they're just as round either way.
Okay.
Or 2-ton Todd. Let's be fair. Equality here, Bob.
Well, Tessie could be a guy.
Yes.
Tessie's not even a name. You can't even think of a T name.
Are you
Tessie's
kidding?
a name.
Tessie's a name.
Tessie? I've never heard the name Tessie in my life.
Look it up.
Oh, Tessie's absolutely, it's a name.
Yeah, you can
It's a
technically
beautiful name.
name your kid anything, but I've never heard the name Tessie.
No, it's
ever.
short for Contessa or something like that.
Well, I know a
Yeah.
Tessa. I have a
Tessa,
cousin Tessa, but I don't have a Tessie.
Well, what the hell's why are you even arguing this?
I'm just saying, out of
Tessie
all names.
It's like Judy. His name is Jude, but I call him Judy.
No, his name is Judy.
Okay, you changed his name.
Okay, we're talking about Chubsy Ubsies, and
Oh my
she
God!
has to divert
Stop
the
calling
conversation.
them that. Or them. There is no these. People don't exist.
Chubsy Ubsy was in the Little Rascals. If you knew your black and white history, or movie and television history, you know who Chubsy Ubsy is.
She knows her white history. I'll tell you that right
Yeah,
now.
that's different.
Let me go home.
Sounds good. See you later.
But nobody wants to see that because if they come sit next to you, you're going to be leaning all. And I used to think it's ridiculous. There's no way anyone should have to pay for 2 seats. And then I had a 2-seater sit next to me.
By the way,
Come on, we've all been through it.
The original point of this was you'd be willing to move seats with somebody if it didn't affect you on an airplane. That was, I just want to get us back to the original.
Brittany, things evolve.
Yeah.
This is evolved or devolved. Maybe it devolved.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, how about those Twins?
That was a good game. I watched that game yesterday, Bob. I got lucky because it looked like they lost it in the top of the ninth, giving up a home run.
Down 3-2.
Down 3-2. They come back at the bottom of the ninth, 2-run homer. Twins walk off. It was a very good game. I mean,
Let me ask you: were you getting? Hey, maybe Dallas Keuchel? Maybe we've got something if he can stay healthy and keep going and get something back from when he was a Cy Young winner.
Yes,
8 years ago.
Yeah, that'd be great. Hey, look, it was a fun game to watch. They came and went. They led, we led. They led, we led. Ended up winning with the walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth, which was
Wallner.
very, very cool.
And Kepler before that had a home run to
Yep.
get him in a position to get those 5 runs, and a sweep. 4.5 game lead, insurmountable for every team but the Twins.
Insurmountable, Bob. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It was nice to see, though, because it looked like they were going to choke it away. That they've done several times this year, but they did a hell of a job, I thought. It was a good game.
You know what? I got to tell them I got to go back and take a look at it because it's unfair to do it and just say it. But they do pretty good when Buxton's not in the lineup.
No, you're absolutely right. It's time for him to go. He just has no value anymore. He's always hurt.
I mean, I don't think his nickname, it's not going to be the Igniter.
No.
The Igniter is when he's on the bench and not playing. That's when a team gets ignited.
Well, when a guy shows up and he's wearing like a head brace and he's got his left arm in a cast and his right leg in a cast and his left foot in a cast, I mean, he's like, Jesus, how could you hit?
Yeah, that makes it a little tougher maybe.
No, I liked him back in the day. One thing I loved about him, he was a very aggressive outfielder. And I was like...
Too aggressive because that's why he kept getting hurt.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. It's too bad because I always liked him.
Well, but also, and Dallas Keuchel is a good example. This guy was on top of the world, and then he wasn't, and nobody wanted him. And they wind up signing him to a minor league contract. The Twins did, and now, he pitched. I mean, it wasn't exactly a pristine outing. He did let up 8 hits in 5 innings. No, he had no strikeouts, but he only had a couple of walks, but, and one earned run. But what I'm getting at is for one time he was terrific, and then he wasn't, and maybe that's Buxton. At one time, he looked like he could be terrific, and now he doesn't.
No, I'd have to agree with that, Bob. I think it's like I said, I got to be very clear again. I was a huge fan of his. I thought he was going to be something else. I mean, the guy's really put together. He had good speed. It was very aggressive. It just unfortunately got hurt so much that maybe he can't do it anymore.
Yeah. No, it's very possible. So, We'll see. And now your Vikings, they pick up a guy. He was a former first-round pick, a wide receiver, N'Keal Harry with the Patriots, has done nothing since he came into the league. So he might just be another body. We'll see. I mean, they get that guy at one point. The great Bill Belichick thought he had talent, but he never played him. So
that's true.
They're fine at wide receiver though. The receiving end of this team is in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
And, they got that great quarterback, Kirk Cousins, so they'll put up big regular season numbers.
Did you say great quarterback?
In the regular season.
Yeah, that's true. In the regular season, he's really good.
When it counts.
Yes, right, exactly. Not in the playoffs, of course. This doesn't count. Then.
Playoffs?
What?
Even, okay, Brittany, you can do that. Who said that?
Playoffs?
You know what?
Playoffs?
What coach said that? Like that, do you know?
No, I just thought
it was Jay.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah, this is the last. This is not going to help her. If we spell it, she won't.
No, I don't. Why are you guys asking me? But I didn't even know it was a reference to something. I just made fun of you going.
Okay,
Playoffs?
You finish the last. JIMMOR. What's the next letter?
What are you saying?
I'm telling you, the guy who said playoffs.
That
was a guy who said that. What was the next letter? Do you know?
No,
of his name, Jim MOR. Jim Mora.
Jim Mora.
Good job.
I didn't know. This game was lovely.
Playoffs.
I just thought it was funny how you said it. I don't know.
Well, I thought you knew about the mimicum of I was mimicking someone who said it. No. Oh, it was an NFL coach who said it. Sorry.
No.
How about those Twins?
Wait a second. I have to do the intro here, Bob. Bob Sansevere Sports is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant, minnesotapersonalinjury.com. And now back to more spelling of names.
Yeah, Jim Mora looks like a poor man's Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I could see that.
I could actually hear him saying, when I look up Jim Mora, I could hear him going, playoffs? Like I can see his face making weird,
He did, though.
I bet Rudy could find it pretty quick. It was a very funny clip that he had when somebody asked about making the playoffs.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Playoffs?
Sounds like all I can think of is like a ventriloquist doll when you guys say it. That's all I see. Me and Jim Mora have never crossed paths.
Never? Where is he now, Bob? Is he still around?
He's 61.
He's not coaching anymore.
He's only 61?
Yeah.
What was he, about 14?
No, that's got to be an offspring. Jim Mora is.
It's got to be.
Oh, Jim. I just looked up Jim Mora, and it says Jim L. Mora, so maybe this is his kid.
Could be.
But
Jim Mora was born in 1935, the one we're talking about.
Oh, doesn't that kid look like his kid looks like a really knockoff of Mark Wahlberg.
And somebody else.
This one's 88. What's that long ago he would have said that?
He looks just like the guy that was on CSI Miami. The guy that got...
Oh, wow!
Doesn't he?
Yes.
He looks just like that guy.
Yeah.
Here you go. This is Jim Mora during this press conference.
And that was a disgraceful performance, in my opinion. We threw that game. We gave it away by doing that. We gave them the friggin' game.
Friggin'.
In my opinion, that sucked. What's that? Playoffs? What are you talking about? Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Playoffs? He was you could tell he did not like when his voice squeaked there. Playoffs? Playoffs?
Was New Orleans, Bob?
He was the coach of the team that when the Vikings had their big run in 1987, go to the NFC Championship game out of nowhere because they had they were a wild card. They beat a really good Saints team and then crushed the 49ers. First team to put Joe Montana on the bench.
Right. Those were the days, Bob. Those have got a big game coming up Thursday that nobody will play in.
Yeah.
No, you won't be seeing Justin Jefferson running on down the field in first, second, third, or fourth quarter. No, this is where they look at guys like N'Keal Harry.
Yeah, there you go.
Who they just signed. That's where you put guys like that in.
Do you guys have people close to you that go to preseason football games?
No.
It boggles my mind that people would spend money on it. I have a family, like an extended family, that they all come down, like 6 of them, come down for a preseason game every year. I'm like, why don't you guys splurge and spend an extra $25 each and go to a game where actual players play and enjoy yourselves? You get one chance on this planet. Go watch an actual real football game during a regular season. I don't get the preseason. It drives me nuts.
It's only the price difference is that small, about like $20 per ticket, you think?
It's not anything. It's not crazy.
Well, the tickets are the same price when you buy a package, but you'll certainly get them discounted if you bought them from someone.
Sure.
So it would be cheaper then. But also, if you're living up north and not in the cities and it's not an opportunity to do it very often, you'd go down and do it for the experience.
Yeah. I mean, just come down during. I mean, if anything, just spend you'll never think of that extra $200 again, but you will always remember the time you saw the Vikings take on the Packers at US Bank Stadium. You'll always have that memory. Don't worry about the $200. It drives me nuts.
Good luck getting the Vikings Packer ticket. Come on, they're not going to get one of those.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you're going to enjoy life a little bit, you spend a little bit more money. It doesn't have to be the Packers. When they play the Chargers, why not? You know,
or this. Take that money and put it toward a big screen TV, which you'll enjoy for years.
You'll always
I'm
have
not a
that memory of
proponent
not blowing a bunch of money at US Bank Stadium. That's what you'll have.
It's the best seat in the house for football is in front of your TV, not at US Bank Stadium, because most of the people, the seats are too far away and they're little dots on the field.
Yeah, pretty much.
You watch it on the big screen.
I would say this, though, that it's quite enjoyable when you buy a round of beers for the four of you and it's $200.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Isn't that's so bonkers? Yeah. Four drinks at a Timberwolves game came to $76.
Bargain.
Four.
That's so wild.
It's like, come on.
What?
No thanks.
Oh, that's just
I don't
crazy.
understand how they, how do they live with themselves or sleep at night? Probably pretty good, but it's disgusting.
I agree. Well, it's been that way for a long time. Like I said, I went with my son-in-law and two of his buddies about 10 years ago, and a 12-pack of Miller Lite was $120.
12-pack. That's
$10 a month.
$10 a piece. It's like 100. What are they? What would a 12-pack be in a store now? About $15, something like that.
I don't even think for Miller Lite it's that much.
Yeah, it's not even that much.
I think it's like $11.99 for a 12-pack.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, the markup's insane. I bought a Pabst Blue Ribbon one time in Apple Valley, and the guy goes, "That'll be $6.50." I was like, "For a Pabst?" I was like, "I can buy a case for like another 50 cents." Yeah.
No, thank you.
And I'd like that $25 pretzel, please.
Right.
Now wait a minute. Let's not run pretzels into the ground.
Well, even just a water is about $6,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
it
you
is.
can't get out of there alive. You're screwed.
Well, now it's been a few years since I've gone, but the only place to get a pretzel at a sporting event would have been Williams Arena, because when it was at the Dome, I mean, these pretzels were from the previous year. They were brutal.
Oh, that's terrible.
Sandy, I got to ask you. I think you were around then. Minnesota Twins games back in the day at Met Stadium. Were you around there?
I was not here for Met Stadium.
Oh, you weren't. Okay, so
I came in '84.
There was a man who wore you remember Brock umbrellas? The umbrella that you put on like a hat that...
I remember the hat. I didn't know they were called that.
No, Lou Brock invented them.
Oh, those were his. That's right. I've seen photos of that.
Brock umbrella, and this guy always wore a Brock umbrella, excuse me. He's a black man in America today. He's about probably 6'1", 6'2", pretty big guy. And he'd wear the Brock umbrella, and he'd go around and go, this beer that you're going to buy is the best beer in this stadium. I know other people are selling the same kind of beer, but this is the best of that. He would just do this big sales pitch. It was wonderful.
It, right? Like,
it was wonderful. I loved it. But I can't remember
did he
his name.
precede Wally, the beer man, or was he after?
He did.
Okay,
No,
he
was
did.
before.
All right.
Yep. And I loved Wally the beer man too. Didn't he run for political office or something later on? Wally the beer man did run for something or did something.
He did get into horses for a while.
Got into
or
horses?
thoroughbreds. Where he owned those. Apparently, I mean, the guy had a pretty good job. I think he sold drugs.
Oh.
Not on a street corner. No, he was a pharmaceutical rep.
Yeah. Well, that really threw me off because he sells beer a very specific way. So when you said, I think he sells drugs very casually, I thought, oh, we're kind of putting this guy on blast right now.
Great guy.
No, not at all. Well, not a blast. But I think he was a pharmaceutical rep.
He was, yes.
He sold at those... Tom, remember at those winter concerts? He would sell little bells, Christmas bells.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, wow.
Cute.
Oh, it was fun. God, it was so much fun to go to Twins games, Viking games back in those days. I think when they threw the whiskey bottle and hit the ref in the face was the last time we had fun.
Yeah, that was the last time he also had fun.
Yeah.
The man who got hit.
Yeah, can't taste
Armin
anymore.
Terzian. Wasn't that the guy?
Terzian, yep, that's exactly who it was.
You know,
No
how
fun.
is it that we come up with things like that, but so what'd you have for lunch?
Because it matters, Bob, because it matters. That's
Yeah,
exactly why.
exactly.
No, but it was great to watch the Twins yesterday. Twins, like I said, they led, they didn't, they led, they didn't. They end up winning the game, walk-off two-run homer. It was fun to watch that game. It really was. I enjoyed it.
Well, then I got Detroit coming up now, right?
Yep.
And, you know, enjoy it while it lasts, because you'll know they're going to have a slide coming up, too.
Now, Bob, you don't have to piss all over my dream. I thought they'd win the rest of their game.
Maybe they, you know what, Tom? It's possible.
What do you got, about 50
It's
left? Got
impossible.
about 50 games left, right?
Well, the record now is they're 59 and 54. So if they did win the rest of the games, they're over 100 wins.
See?
Well, way over.
If they won the rest of their games, never lost another game in the next 6 weeks. Now we're talking. Or 7 weeks, I guess it would be.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I would love it. I'm telling you. Worked for me. But
And they still lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Ixnay Abe.
No, smack schnay. All right, sorry about that.
That's all I have to say.
I don't know what got into me.
All right, so what else you got, Bob? We got about 3 minutes left. So we got the Twins, we got the Vikings. Any other sports that anyone gives a rat's ass about?
Well, you know what? We need to mention that the women's national soccer team, the women who want to be paid just like the men, and one of the biggest proponents of making equal pay was it Megan Rapinoe? Is that her name?
Rapinoe.
Misses
yep.
the big penalty kick. And then they're out. They lost to Sweden, and I've seen a lot of stories today or a lot of things on social media. Remember the time they played a 15 and under boys team and lost 5-2? See, that's the problem with getting paid the equal money. I mean, you got to beat the 15-year-olds.
Well, I suppose.
And that was a while. That was like 6 years ago. But still,
Bob, is it a requirement that the leader of the women's soccer team has to have purple hair?
She likes to stand out.
But all three of them, the last three
about
had purple hair, didn't they?
Oh, I don't really. I only see her because she seems to be the darling of the media,
Yeah.
and her photo is the one you see more than anyone.
Yeah, that's true. That's too bad.
So I mean, she's very much. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a big problem with her, but I think there is, and I think it's her that does it. She bullies teammates into kneeling during the national anthem. That's not a good thing. You know what?
An asshole.
Let people do what they want to do.
I'm glad you lost now, lady. Don't bully people at the national anthem. Why don't you go live somewhere else, see how wonderful that is? I'm getting really tired of that. I got to be honest with you. I'm not saying America's the greatest of all time, although I think it is. But once you get your head out of it, look what happened. You had this magnificent career, right?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Go have a chat with Brittany Griner. Ask her what she thinks of being stuck in another country.
Yeah.
Go live in shithole. You see how you like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you know, these women, they want to have, and it's fine. Good for you if you can get it, the equal pay. But the real test for them is how many endorsements are they getting? They should be able to make up any money. If you're truly a great player, you'll get endorsements.
That's true.
Yeah, they talk about how like some mascots make more than like the star of the WNBA, and I'm like, well, yeah, because the mascot brings in money. They send them out to car lots. They send them out to do autographs. You know, if you really want to like find a great like the epitome of how all this like women's sports and how it's all a bunch of BS with everybody getting equal pay, watch the last Bill Burr special because he breaks it down.
Yeah. He's good.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I don't really care. These women over the years, they've done much better. The men's team is making too much money. They suck.
I agree.
So the women's team, yes, you want to get money, but it can't. Everything cannot be. I don't even want to go down this road, but everything can't be equal. The market will pay what the market will pay.
Absolutely. You know, when people were like, we got to have a women's team and they need to make the same amount, it was like, well, then the stands should be filled with women. You guys wanted this. We gave it to you. I believe the WNBA has not ever come ahead every season. I think they lose money every single year.
They do, yeah.
So obviously, you're not going to be able to make that same amount of money.
Well, And I don't know, even in their heyday when they were winning all the titles, the WNBA, the local team, the Lynx, they would fill the lower bowl and not even open the upper deck.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't know if it's still like that, but it was like that for a while. The only women's team that I can recall here that was filling an arena was the Lindsey Whalen Final Four team. They were phenomenal.
Yeah,
People really got into that, and they came out and packed Williams Arena. And that was a great team to watch, and it was a terrific, it was really a lot of fun to watch that group and that team. And Lindsey Whalen got screwed, of course, by the U.
She did. I agree.
And they're, to me, their athletic director needs a little bit of a review because I don't think he's exactly been knocking them out of the park with the decisions he's made.
When's the last time we had a good one? Seriously.
A good athletic director?
Yeah.
Paul Giel. Everyone loved Paul Giel.
Yeah, Paul Giel. How long ago was that? About 50 years ago?
Yeah.
And
then you had the one that was playing patty cake.
Oh, yeah.
And so they've had a rough go.
I can't remember the guy, but he was a raging prick. He was the athletic director. And that's back in the days I used to go have a cigar once in a while. So I joined the cigar club, and he went to the management and tried to get me removed from the roster.
Ooh. No.
Oh, yeah. I said, okay, there. Yeah.
Why? Because you were smoking too many stogies?
No, because I criticized him.
What did he go with?
I criticized him, so he couldn't get, take a little criticism. If you're going to be a public figure, you're going to have to take criticism. That's just how it is. It's the way it goes, right?
Yeah.
All right, Sandy, get the hell off the show.
All right. No, I was going to try to guess who it was, but we'll.
Well, go ahead. And
it
guess,
wasn't. Was it Joel Maturi?
No, it was not Joel Maturi. He was always very nice.
Was it Mark Deanhart?
That might have been him.
No, not Deanhart. Not Maturi. Norwood Teague is the guy who was playing patty cake.
That is the guy.
Rick Bay?
No, it's Norwood Teague.
That guy?
Yep, it was him.
Oh, he was as arrogant as they could.
Oh, God, was he arrogant. Unbelievable. No, actually, the last two guys you mentioned, they were very, very pleasant. Even when I criticized the teams, they were they didn't like it, but they were still pleasant about it.
Joel was actually a very decent guy.
Yeah, he was. I agree. No, he's got the stadium named after him, doesn't he? Maturi Sports Center or whatever.
There's something there. They named something after all these guys.
Well, that's
Deanhart
nice.
went on to be the president at St. Thomas. Well, they do. And you know what? Kudos to you because you were still alive when they did it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? The fact that you haven't kicked off.
Good point, Sandy.
Isn't Sid Hartman? While he was alive, he had the Sid Hartman press box. Now they might have put the word memorial in. I don't know.
All right, Sansevere, get the hell off the show.
Much. We'll see you later. I'm gone.
Even over that party time. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sansevere Sports, sponsored by Bradshaw and Bryant Personal Injury Lawyers. So one thing about Sandy, I've known him now for about 35 years.
Yeah.
His hearing must be horrendous. He talks over people more than anybody I have ever worked with.
He's like a train. You can't stop him when he's got like a thought that he needs to convey. He's going to keep going.
Well, don't get me wrong. I love Sandy.
I love Sandy.
Well, I love his family more than I do him. His family's got a wonderful family, and he's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
No, we love Sandy. We shall take a break, be right back. Continue the show right after this. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. And Tatiana's a much better person than Steve. Let me just point that out. You heard me.
Agreed.
Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians, not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need, when they need it, and at the fair price. Keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank, too. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they have taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. There's a guy named Tom Cross who likes to do kite things. Tom takes the phrase, go fly a kite, to an extreme, and for years goes all over the country in search of great kite flying events. Lincoln City, Oregon comes to mind, with Chinook winds and 7 miles of pristine beach that draws folks from all over North America for the best kite flying conditions in the world. Tom brings a little Minnesota with him when he goes to Lincoln City in his new 2109S Rockwood Mini Light travel trailer. The new lightweights from Rockwood are very popular. Tom hauls his trailer from Niemeyer Trailer Sales in Albertville and Elko New Market, Minnesota. Niemeyer Trailer Sales is the only place Tom would prepare his next kite flight. Solar panels, exterior griddle, air conditioning are just a few of the standard features in his Rockwood by Forest River, from the place that is your ultimate RV headquarters since 1965. This is Tom Barnard. Visit my friends at Niemeyer Trailer Sales and take your passion on the road. Niemeyer Trailer Sales. Go to NIEMEYERS.com. Niemeyer Trailer Sales. What if I don't want to talk to Kristyn, Burtt? What then?
Well, then I will, because I want to talk to her real bad.
It's all about you.
What's the scoop, Britt?
I'm just wondering how T Swift is doing over in your hood.
She's doing great. Obviously, I'm not at the concert, but I've had so much fun watching all of my friends' clips, what they're wearing. The concert looks amazing because SoFi Stadium is state of the art, and that is why they are filming something for for future use, whether it's a documentary, whether it's a concert, whether it's a combination of both. But we've seen those cameras like going across the sky and the drones overhead. So she's cooking up something good.
Did you guys see the dollar figure she's brought in so far in the first 8 months of the year? Not brought in for herself, but overall the money that's been spent. She got, I don't know how much, but overall, whether it's merchandise or tickets or all these different
like hotels, accommodations,
all of that stuff.
The restaurants around there. Yeah.
Yep.
What is the number looking at?
$5 billion.
Yeah.
$5 billion.
That's why she gave away that $55 million bonus to her crew.
I did the math the other day, and no joke, Taylor Swift has taken up like 7% of my income this year.
There you go.
Between the concert tickets. Yeah, this weekend, a Taylor Swift sweatshirt shows up at my house, and I'm like, what is this? My daughter goes, I ordered it. I was like, did we not have this conversation? She's like, I wanted it.
I have to text Kinley and see which one she got to see if we're twinsies, because that would make my life.
Yeah.
Everybody wants the blue like
quarter zip.
Sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Did you get it?
I didn't get quarter zip. I have enough of that style. I wanted something that because that one doesn't really even have Taylor Swift on it. So I got like a super obnoxious one with her face on it, and then like Taylor Swift Eras Tours on the sleeve. Like
Wait a minute. You were super obnoxious?
Exactly.
I never heard of that before.
Like the quarter zip is not my jam. I wanted to scream Taylor Swift.
Oh, God.
I love that though. I mean, it's exciting to see an artist really succeed on this level, because this is, to me, honestly, like a once in a lifetime situation. Someone who really has hit the zeitgeist, but hits every single generation. I've loved watching, like, Channing Tatum brought his daughter, and he was all decked out in his, Taylor Swift. Like, he had the bracelets, he had the glitter. Seeing the celebrities like all being like, the Taylor dad bringing their kids to the concert is really cute. It's an experience that every generation can kind of share together. Nobody's worried about the content of the show. Like, is this going to be too adult for my 6-year-old? What is my 16-year-old going to see? It's a real communal experience.
Sure seems to be. I tell you, $5 billion in total revenue.
Mm-hmm. What
That's
other artist
amazing.
could do that right now?
Nobody right now. No way. It's one of. I was trying to think if I ever owned a Beatle T-shirt when I was a teenager. I don't think I ever did.
Which is a shame.
It is too bad. I don't know if they had that kind of merch. Well, they probably had it, but not at the level it's at today.
Yeah, I wonder. It's Like, that would have been crazy to hold on to that, which would have been so cool.
Yeah, it'd have some age on it now, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But, no, God bless her. She works her ass off. It appears that she's very pleasant to everybody, right?
Except maybe Kanye and Kim.
Well, I don't blame her for that.
Right?
It's okay.
Same.
We are okay with that. But I do think it's rather interesting, too, that we're also having a summer of Barbie. So this really feels like a female empowerment summer. And it's really fun for me, at least, to watch, because that movie crossed $1 billion over the weekend. And it just feels like, yeah, like, hey, Barbie. And that also is sort of crossed into the zeitgeist as well. Like, people greet each other. I went to an event. I worked all weekend long for Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful. And literally all the reporters were like, hi, Barbie. Hi, Ken. And I was like, it's amazing that a movie can do that.
You know what amazes me, actually? And everybody lives their own life. They've had their own experiences, all the rest of it. But female empowerment to me is like, what are you talking about? Because no, that's not it. My whole life, women have always been in control of my life, which I have no problem with whatsoever. See, so for me, it's a different experience. Not everybody is involved in this bullshit that some people are involved in. Whether it was my grandmothers, my mother, my sisters, my wife, my daughter. She loves to push people around, by the way. By people, I mean me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, female empowerment. Just get the hell out. Why does everybody just shut the hell up and get out of each other's way, and we'll all live our lives? What's wrong with that?
Well, a lot of places, I've worked plenty of jobs where, as a female, you had no voice. And
really,
the craziest thing is, and I've mentioned this company before, they don't exist, so it really doesn't matter. But I was an entertainment editor at a women's health site. We covered every scope of women's health, anything you can possibly imagine. The entire board was white men over the age of 60 on the board of directors. All of the executives, except for one, were male. And honestly, like, trying to get an idea, a message, a story across was almost impossible if you were female. The men ruled that place. It was a horrible place to work.
It's so weird that whole. First of all, if you're a real man, why the hell would you do that to somebody else?
I don't know. The CEO was atrocious too. So he just would like. He was a bean counter.
Like, you want her to answer as if she would know. What was the size and look of his penis, Kristyn?
Oh my gosh. He was so obsessed with like team building. And then he would be like, it's National Tequila Day. So we would serve everyone tequila and be like, go out and enjoy the roads as you drive home. And like, people would drive wasted. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, doesn't that blow your mind? You're like, listen.
It was a real frat, like, bro place to work, and it was really unpleasant. And they sent me to Haiti. Listen, I'm dishing the dirt. They sent me to Haiti. We did a documentary, which was fabulous. The note I got, honestly, it was some of the best work of my career. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna pat myself on the back because tough subject matter. All of the kids had lost their parents in the 2010 earthquake. Really hard to compartmentalize. The note that came back to me was, you should have been wearing more makeup, and your hair didn't look great. I'm in 100 degrees.
I love that.
Can you imagine? They're like, you didn't look like, you should have been wearing more stuff like, Jeff Probst's on Survivor. I'm like, he has hair and makeup. I had no hair and makeup. And, like, I did the best I could. I reapplied the best I could, but it was 100% humidity. It was over 100 degrees. Give me a break. I'm like, look at the content of work, not the color of my lipstick.
I have a question for you. Like, did your hair look like it does today?
It was probably, oftentimes it was pulled back like in a tight bun or a tight ponytail. Right. So it really didn't, I didn't have like the big like hair that I normally would.
The reason I'm asking you that is at 6 o'clock in the morning in Los Angeles, your hair looks wonderful.
Thank you.
What are they talking about?
I don't know. And I was like, you go out there and like, dude, I mean, these stories were traumatic. Like, when I came back, it took about a month to process like everything I heard and saw. I was a mess just because it finally hit me. I was like, oh, there was a lot of trauma that I witnessed while I was there. I don't know. I was so frustrated. And I was like, I'm not going to sit there and let this get to me, because these are opinions that really don't matter.
Yeah, that's insane. If those are the notes that come back on that, and that's insane. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Is he getting better?
The CEO?
No, I'm talking about the way women are treated in the workplace generally.
I think I make better choices of who I surround myself with.
Yeah.
And if I feel like a situation is really going to be messy, I extricate myself from that situation. It's not worth the money or the hassle. Peace of mind, and I think most people would agree with this, peace of mind is priceless.
It is indeed. I'll just picture in my mind, okay, so you'll take the four of us, and then Catherine would walk in, and I'd say, listen, you got to do this. And her response would be, okay, dear, whatever you say. Can you even picture that? No, you cannot.
Kristyn, real quick, what was the name of the documentary that you did in Haiti?
Well, it never got published. They never wound up using it. We got hours and hours and hours of footage, and then they hated it all. And I will tell you, it's some of the best work of my career.
They hated it
So I
all.
have clips of it, but it was never published.
Brittany, how come you dropped off the screen? You hiding?
No, I think, this computer, I think the Wi-Fi went crazy.
You're a disaster.
I'm,
Okay, Tom, I'll get back on. No, whatever you say.
I'm sorry that happened to you, Kristyn. That's rough.
Yeah, well, you know what? They went under, so the CEO spent too much money making sure that he had Dodger season tickets on the suite level, of course, and $1 million Christmas parties instead of taking care of the company. So, but I happily got laid off a year before it all happened, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Isn't that funny when that happens, something like that happens, and you go, oh, it's devastating, and then you look back and you go, oh, I'm so glad somebody forced my hand to get out of something like that.
I cried for about a day, and I was
when you came on this show?
Moving on. I was working on the show with you guys already.
Really?
Not in this show, but I was on the family at that point.
I'm still just trying to picture in my mind what that world is all about. Because first of all, when you're like 3 times bigger than any woman, why would you want to exert control over that? You're obviously physically, I don't understand. Why would you want to treat people like that? I don't get it.
I do think it's someone who has no self-esteem. And then is in a position of power, can then make other people try and feel little. And my boss, she was lovely. She was the only female executive there. I mean, she was regularly crying. And I was like, this is so bad. So bad. So it's just one of those situations where I don't think they would have survived the Me Too era anyway. They went under right before Me Too. And and I think for them, they were really lucky because they probably would have had a few lawsuits.
Yeah, probably true. Maybe that's one thing that people need to look at is we all live such different lives. And it just was never, ever the life that I lived, that women were treated like crap. I'm sure it was going on, and maybe the one time I did almost kill a guy down in front of the Fauché Tower. He pulled up a woman's dress while they were going through the revolving door. Pulled her dress up over her waist. It's like, so I had to mention to him while I had him pinned up against the building that I might have to kill him.
Yeah.
Because I pictured, of course, I put my wife, my daughter, my mother, my sisters in that position. Oh, that would not have been good.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? She was going to a bachelorette party, I guess. What are they called now? Are they still called that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All 8 of the women came out of the building and gave me a hug and said thank you. Isn't that sweet?
Nice.
It was very, very sweet. But I just see that's the whole thing. By treating children and women and you're just proving to the world that you have a very small penis. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that is exactly it.
It's true. You're a pain in the ass and a coward that you have to treat people like that. No question.
Oh, absolutely. And, the one thing I am so grateful, my parents raised a very strong daughter.
No, really?
Yeah, shocking. And I don't lack for self-esteem. My parents raised 2 very confident kids, me and my brother. But it is one of those things I am very grateful for because if it had been a different situation or I had a different set of parents, I would have I struggled enough just because I was like, God, this is so crazy. But it was one of those things that I knew my self-worth was not defined by this person or this company. Because I also knew the work that I was putting out for them was really strong and good. So
is it an environmental thing? Because I cannot picture one of my friends' mothers that was a weak woman. They were all very strong people and ran the household. And
But doesn't that kind of lean into the point that they had to be so strong?
in that neighborhood, they did, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, in general, I think it's funny because I don't think anybody's conveying that women are weak because they have to deal with things like this. It's almost like they have to be stronger to deal with the things that they just shouldn't have to deal with. Like, we shouldn't have to constantly be so strong, you know? It's like, why can't we
everybody does now. Everybody is being preyed upon, being treated like crap.
Yeah.
The world right now is the worst I've ever seen it. It really is. I mean, I was involved in World War II, so that was before I was born. That probably was a lot worse. But no, people treat each other like dirt now, and it really annoys me.
It's technology. It's technology.
It is. There's no question.
The shift in society, because I'm old enough where I've had no technology and have had technology and been able to kind of witness that shift. I'm one of my generation, I think, is the one that probably saw the major shift, not the one that's like, oh, I was born and there was already an iPad in my lap. So knowing what life was before and after, it's really kind of astonishing.
Yeah, there's no question about it because it's not real. That's the big thing. People have got to understand hopping on that computer, that's not the real world.
No.
They think it is, but it's not.
No.
And people are getting to be bigger and bigger pains in the ass because of it. And I really wish they'd calm down. You know, you got the world right in front of you there on your laptop or whatever. Stop abusing that privilege.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's true.
Everybody's gotten very, very aggressive because they can get this prick, I'll type something in.
Right.
Ooh, aren't you a tough guy? Whatever. But in any case, what else has happened? Oh, I wanted to thank you, by the way, because what did we watch that you said? Oh, Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah.
Catherine and I had never seen that show
love
before.
that show.
It's phenomenal.
Oh, it's so
How many episodes did you watch?
2 so far.
All right, in season 1, you started right from the beginning.
Right, the season 1.
Okay, great.
I think it's hilarious, very, very well acted. Is it the oldest son that's such a massive pain in the ass?
They all are.
They all are. It's so great.
Phenomenal.
I just finished the 3rd season last night,
did?
and
Four?
there's 3 seasons.
3
yeah,
seasons, okay.
and I had the feeling that I have with all good shows at the end of it. I'm sad that I'm done with it, but I'm like angry that other people get to experience it for the first time. I'm like, no.
You can live vicariously through us because we are slowly getting through. I think we watched half an episode last night before we both were like, let's go to bed. But it was so funny.
Yeah. Really good.
And I love those series. Like those are the ones when you're just like they're written perfectly from beginning to end and not a miss.
I'm obsessed with the daughter Judy, that Edie Patterson that we looked up. There's a line coming. You won't come until season 3, and this isn't anything giveaway. The main son, the oldest son's wife, is talking about how her son is sick or hurt or whatever, and Judy goes, "Oh, are you going to let your mom Munchausen you?" And it was so funny. Like it was just. I mean, I was like rolling. Her delivery on everything is just hilarious.
You know, my favorite line so far is with the very, very first episode when those guys are in the van wearing the masks.
Oh, sure.
And the lead guy's wearing a devil mask.
Yeah.
And I don't know if most people even caught this because it was kind of in the background. They were arguing about something about bring the money and do this and do that. And all of a sudden the guy, he's wearing a devil mask. He goes, "You prick." I thought that was hilarious.
There's just a lot
like
of
the devil
little
calling you a prick.
There's a lot of little parts that have nothing to do with the plot that make it so funny.
Fantastic cast. The casting in that show is perfect.
Yeah, the subtle moments too are that's the thing. Like in comedy, when you can have those subtle moments, you just know it's great.
Catherine and I were laughing our ass off again, because the first episode is an hour, and then after that they're half an hour, right?
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
And they're breezy, and that's the fun thing when you've got like a great show, 30 minutes. You don't have to sit there on the couch for 5 hours and go. I mean, I do love a good binge, but if you're like, I just want to watch like maybe one episode and then go to bed, it's going to put you in a great mood.
A question for all of you: has John Goodman ever been bad in anything?
No.
He's phenomenal.
I'm going to say no. I'm honestly shocked he has not won an Oscar.
One thing,
The Flintstones.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
As awful.
I think the movie's bad. He's good.
I don't know. I think the whole thing is kind of garbagey. But no, but to watch him, it's almost sad that he never had any leading roles. I mean, he had like King Ralph and whatnot, but he always plays like a good secondary, tertiary character. Like you have Walter from The Big Lebowski. He was in Sea of Love with Al Pacino, which is like such a good movie that is so underrated.
And, oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? When he played the Cyclops, he did so well in that.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's good.
You know, I'm thinking too, what they're probably missing, and someone, since we're not like working right now in Hollywood, give him a romantic lead. Trust me on that.
I love that.
Yeah.
It would be outside the box, but I think he would like knock it out of the park.
Also,
James Gandolfini did one too before he passed away, and that was so good with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
I miss him. Damn it! Why did he have to die?
Oh my gosh! You know, I saw him a few days before he passed away.
Oh, did you?
I was at Chateau Marmont, and he sat at a table across from us. And then he went right to Italy right after that. He must have left like the next day or something. But my friend and I were sitting there. We're like, oh my gosh, James. And if you go to Chateau, you go into the inner garden, you're going to see a ton of celebrities. This is where they go. You're not allowed to use cell phones or anything else like that. But he was like a big star. Do you know what I mean? You're like big TV stars sitting next to you. It wasn't just like Lindsay Lohan sitting next to you, whom I love, but you know, someone who's always out there. And it was just, I always remember it because he was like quiet and like just subtle, like wasn't making a big show that he was there. And then like 3 days later, he had passed away. And I was like, oh.
With his son. His son was with him when he died, too, right?
His son was like 13 or 14 at the time. Yeah. And they were on a father-son vacation.
I remember. It's really, really too bad. And then the other thing, because we only got about a minute left, is I did not go see Oppenheimer, but there's a television movie or a documentary, I guess. I guess it is a movie documentary, whatever. It's an hour and 25 minutes long. It's called Oppenheimer, The Real Story. It is phenomenal. Really good.
I think Tim Lammers recommended that on The Family.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe a couple of weeks ago. Just saying, you know, hey, if you don't, or was it you, Rudy? I don't know. Somebody recommended it and was just saying like, hey, if you don't want to sit through a 3-hour movie, this is a really great way to get the story and really, you know, do more of a deep dive into the facts versus the Hollywood version of it.
Yeah, no question. I just, there's so much good stuff right now. And you guys, so far, like I said, you know, Lioness, Special Ops Lioness, it is unbelievably, everything right now that we've watched has been very, very good.
And there's a couple of shows. Winning Time, if anyone saw season 1, that is now back out on HBO and Max, which follows the story of the Lakers, brings in the Celtics this year. So I'm really excited. That came out yesterday, so go and check that out. They'll be dropping episodes. And then Only Murders in the Building finally will be out, season 3 on August 8th. So that's coming up this week. And you'll have Paul Rudd and Meryl Streep in the season.
There you go. It's tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So
yeah, it's August 8th tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't even know. Everything's like such a blur. I know. I'm on a 14-day streak of work, so I'm like, I don't know. I didn't have a weekend. I worked all weekend.
Welcome to the club, sister. That's all I have to say to you. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Thanks a lot. Kristyn Burtt, ladies and gentlemen. Lucky enough to have worked with her for 12 years now. She's an amazing woman, no question. It's kind of nice talking to you guys about that stuff because you don't realize living your own life that you're a lot different than other people.
Yeah.
Like nobody ever disrespected anybody's mother in my neighborhood, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
You get your ass handed to you by the mother. One of my favorite things I ever saw, we lived on 18th and Emerson, and that was back when North High School was right there across the street. It's now down on Irving, the old building that was first built. There were 2 boys arguing right at the end of the school day, and the 2 boys didn't hook up. The 2 mothers got in a fist fight. I will never, and I would not have wanted to fought either one of those women. They were throwing roundhouses and hooks.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
That just is
I will
brutal
never
for a brutal life.
It was wonderful. I loved it. All right, we'll take a break. Be right back. Chris Egert will join us right after this. It's time for Power Lodge and Miller Marine. Attention all power sports enthusiasts. This August, we invite you to celebrate with Power Lodge as we hit a major milestone, 25 years of bringing action and excitement to Minnesota as your go-to destinations for all things marine and power sports. To say thank you, each of our locations will host a local community appreciation day. Yes, I said a local community appreciation day. Join us in Brainerd, Ramsey, Onamia, or Sauk Rapids as we roll out the red carpet with delicious food, amazing prices, fantastic giveaways, and unbeatable special pricing. As the grand prizes, we'll be raffling off a variety of Polaris ATVs and snowmobiles. Check out powerlodge.com for event dates nearest you. It'd be a lot of fun anyway. And that's not all, by the way. Throughout August, we've got something special planned. Follow us on social media as we unveil 25 days of deals on the latest off-road and on-road vehicles, boats, and supplies from the top brands in power sports. That's right, 25 days of back-to-back incredible offers. You won't want to miss this. So mark your calendars and get in on the action during our 25th anniversary Power Lodge, where your adventure begins. There's plenty of thoughts that come into your head when you think the name Killebrew. Of course, there's the Minnesota baseball legend, Harmon, who was responsible for many a favorite memory at the old Met Stadium in Bloomington, and many a baseball that ended up in the stands and in the gloves of adoring fans from his home runs. There's Killebrew Drive, the legendary road that connects Highway 77 to the Mall of America, and a day of shopping you'll never forget. My current thoughts for the name Killebrew is fun floats in our kitchen with my kids and grandkids, a cool, refreshing break in between innings at Target or CHS Field. Or maybe a perfect sunset paired with a sweet, frothy beverage after fishing or on your favorite walleye lake. Killebrew root beer and cream soda. Grab a six-pack at a grocery or convenience store near you. I'm Tom Barnard. This spring and summer, enjoy the one Killebrew root beer and cream soda. Gluten and caffeine-free with a generous portion of delicious thrown in. Killebrew, where memories are created and legends are made. Acoustic wave therapy is the latest advancement in the treatment of erectile dysfunction. It's a non-surgical, non-medication solution to improving your natural erections. I highly recommend Twin Cities Premier Health for this therapy. For better erections and optimal sexual performance at any age, get back on track to a healthy, satisfying sex life with your partner. No medications, no surgery, overseen by their highly trained health professionals all along the way. Right now, I have a special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today, valued at $800. 952-395-4346. That's my unique phone number, 952-395-4346. Go to TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com and use promo code TOM. Twin Cities Premier Health acoustic wave therapy protocol is provided via a medical device that delivers a painless, low-intensity, high-frequency shock wave over the surface of the skin over a series of treatments. This non-invasive, highly effective, science-based procedure creates an increase in blood flow and helps create new blood vessels by treating the root cause of most erectile dysfunction. Use promo code TOM when you go online to schedule a free consultation. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. News brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh for your free 48-minute financial evaluation. Mr. Happy Pants, as it says right up on the screen, Chris Egert with us. Now, when you were mimicking us, torturing us, and teasing us, I was actually on the phone with Josh Arnold because he's going to call in at 9 o'clock, or we're going to call him at 9 o'clock, because for some reason, not the local news, but the national news, particularly CNN more than anybody, is really pushing this idea that we're going into a recession. And I, from what I've seen, I did a lot of work on it over the weekend. I don't know that we are going into a recession. Why did they have to scare people into watching their news?
Yeah, that's a good question, and that's been debated for the last, at least probably a year and a half, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not we're going to go into recession, and we're still not there technically. So, yeah, we've got a financial expert on today too, by the way.
Yeah,
so
smart move.
I'm glad you're talking to Josh, and I need to call him, by the way, but that's a conversation for another day.
Because of that big dough you're making?
Fat cash.
He goes,
Stacks.
yeah.
Get that big.
But no, I just
and stacks and stacks of cash.
I literally have gotten calls from people, friends, and, not necessarily very close friends, but Tom, my God, are we going into a depression? I said, it's not a depression. First of all, it's a recession. This is not 1929 again, where the entire world fell apart. It's not even going to be 2008 again. Things might change a little bit, but we're not going to fall apart at the seams. Calm down. We'll get through it.
It's good to talk to somebody who's got some picture perspective from it, because I think what happens if you're somebody who might watch, the news in a certain capacity, it might, all you're hearing is sort of the really crappy stuff that's going on, and you don't necessarily get the opportunity to step back and sort of hear from somebody who can take a look at it in a different way.
Well, and that's why I didn't want to pop on myself, because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I wanted to get somebody who does know what they're talking about. It's like when I go to do the news. I don't do the news myself. I get an expert anchor person.
Oh, when are they on?
I don't know. I can't get a hold of them. Thank you very much. Great to be here. That was really nice, Britt.
No problem.
Britt.
No problem.
And by the way, did you know the last name Arneson begins with an R? Arneson. I still can't believe she thought that.
Listen, our nurse was worried that we were naming Margot Francis. Her initials would be MFR, and she was very concerned for us.
Laughing.
It was sweet though. Like, I was appreciative, especially because I wasn't exactly with it at the time when we were signing these forms for her name.
Well, mine's Tomb, TMB.
Yeah.
I got Tomb. That's not fair.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, baby. And of course, the MHP. You got Mr. Happy Pants.
What?
Yes.
What's your middle name, Chris?
Adam.
CAE. Okay.
Up and Adam.
Yeah, I don't. It's lame.
It's fine.
It's not lame.
Yeah,
it's a good name.
Fine.
What do you like better as a first name, Chris or Adam? Like, what would you prefer?
I was supposed to be August Christopher Egert.
I could see you as an August, to be honest.
Ace. Think of those initials.
That's cute. I'm not mad at that. Why did they switch last second?
Not ballsy enough.
They found out about my uncles. That's why. You know the story about my uncles, right?
Like all of them who've died tragically?
Yes. 2 of them were named August.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes,
oh, wow,
exactly.
Yeah. Maybe we did talk about this. I don't remember.
So it's a good thing your name isn't August, or we'd be throwing you off a building.
Yeah, good. Yeah, nobody needs that.
Were you born in August?
No.
Okay. Well, why is that so crazy? Why was that?
No.
That I don't. You know what?
No. I'm just. I didn't get the name, so that's what my attitude was about. Not that was a dumb question. I had a
You're so stupid.
I had a great grandfather with that last name or that first name.
August.
Yeah.
That's
Augustus.
Augustus. Yeah, it's a great name actually. Well, July and August. You got Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar. That's where it came from.
My parents knew I was going to be a mediocre person, so they dialed the name down. They're like,
They're like, let's save this in case we have another kid.
Let's go with a name that 9 billion other people have. Chris. Okay, cool.
Well, Tom's not exactly standalone either.
Fair.
My mom really thought I was a boy the whole time she was carrying me and was going to name me Charlie. And then I came out and was panicked. And my sister was watching Alvin and the Chipmunks. And Alvin's girlfriend is named Brittany. So I got my name from like a slutty girlfriend of Alvin. So
perfect fit.
Wait. Alvin, Brittany the Chipmunk is not slutty.
Wow. Oh, have you seen the movie when she has to wear like the little like outfit to escape from the
That's not the original Alvin and the Chipmunks. There's no way she's slutty in the early days.
Slutty. I like.
Yeah, they weren't putting out the Christmas album with David when Brittany was a slut on the.
Yeah, she was very conservative. I'm sure.
I've kept the name and the honor that she has held up. fine.
So now
And
I
I'm
get to
that
think of
one-
you as a slutty chipmunk. Okay.
You're welcome.
There you go. Now you're talking.
I've been called worse today. So.
Okay,
And
so now we
I'm
learned.
that white slut.
There you go. Rudy, why were you named? Was there any reason you were named what you were named?
No.
It's just a name.
If there was, I have forgotten it a long time ago. I don't care about any of that stuff. Like the only thing, my middle name was my dad's first name, and I legally changed that before my daughter was born.
Right.
Did your mom? Does your mom? Because your name you came out Nathan.
Uh-huh.
Did your mom still call you Nathan, or does she call you Rudy now?
Yeah, family. Most of the family calls me Nathan.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Depends on where I'm at, but for the most part, everybody calls me. The family does, but all my friends, when I tell them my name is Nathan, they're like, "Get out of here!"
Yeah. You're very Rudy to me.
Mm-hmm.
You're very Rudy.
Rudy Tooty.
So that means he insults you by being rude. Is that what you say? You're Rudy?
Oh, he's super rude.
Yeah, she was talking about the inspirational Notre Dame football player.
Oh, that's what it was.
He's a rude dude.
That was a good movie.
Great movie.
That was a really good movie.
Yep.
No doubt about it. I was named Thomas because it means twin, because I was so huge they thought I was two babies. Did you know that, Mr. Egert? Yes, that's what it was. All the massive biceps I had at birth. Yeah, no question about it.
You flexed the other baby right out of the womb.
He ate it. You
I mean, that
consumed
might-
the other fetus.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
You taste like ribs?
I don't know. You tell me, Thomas.
Just consume the other child. That does happen, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it absorbs. Yeah. I
Yes,
mean,
they absorb the other baby.
That's nutrients, which is super weird.
It kind of is, actually, yes.
That's funny you say that, because we were just having a conversation the other day with my kids, and one of them brought up that, like, there's some twins, and like the one twin is like amazing at everything and like good looking and all these things, and then the other twin isn't.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And they're like, just how, kind of it would suck to be that twin that doesn't have like everything going for them,
Well, in my case, the other guy did not handle it well, I'll tell you that, because his brother was very tall and handsome and smart and funny, and he was just kind of a nerd. It was tough on him. I mean, it was really tough on him. But he got very negative and had a really bad attitude because of it.
I mean,
that stinks.
I would think so. I mean, that would make sense. It feels like it would be a constant reminder of what you could or should be.
Yeah, and everyone's always talking about, what's his name over here, and.
Well, the good news for that, the other one, the one that wasn't the lead one, was a moron, so he probably didn't even know that was all that big a deal.
That's nice.
Well, no, I just took a lot of the sting out of
That's
it, is what I'm saying. Yeah,
Hey. They say ignorance is bliss, and I walk around and I look at some people and I go, yeah, that looks nice.
You're too stupid to know you're a loser.
Same.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Anyway, back to reality now, ladies and gentlemen. That's terrible, but funny. Anyway, moving forward. So what else is going on in the news? Anything big?
There's a bunch of rotten stuff going on in the news today.
Really?
Yeah, there's a 12-year-old who was shot over the weekend in St. Paul, and it was a relative. They were messing with a gun.
And it was a relative's gun too, right? It wasn't even his gun.
They don't. They think they know who left the gun there, and they're trying to get the older relative, who I think is 14, out of jail, because they don't. This is the family talking. They don't blame the kid. They blame the relative who left the gun there. And it's just so awful.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So an older relative left the gun for the 14-year-old? I thought he brought it with him.
Like left it at their place or something, was the way it sounded to me.
Yeah, you don't want to do that without firearms. That's not a good idea around teenagers.
Yeah. And also the 14-year-old is in jail?
Yeah.
It's in some is being held in some capacity. I don't know that it would be actual jail, but
would it be? But wasn't this deemed an? I guess I don't know most of the story. I did hear about it, but wouldn't it be deemed an accident, like a firearm accident, and not anything that was? I could see if he pointed the gun at the kid and then pulled the trigger because they were arguing over, whatever, Xbox.
Yeah.
But was this an accident? That's so weird that they would be holding him in custody.
yeah, I think the family's saying it's an accident, but I don't know that has all been worked out with.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
We got to do something about all these deaths, man. It's first of all, if you can't be responsible with your handguns, you should not be allowed to have a handgun.
Listen, I leave things constantly. How many times do I have to sneak in the family podcast, like army crawl in here to grab something? Know thyself. I don't carry a gun because I would leave it behind somewhere.
Would not be good.
Like, hands down.
Yeah, that was the thing about being in Idaho last week, is going like bar to bar and just seeing everybody with their guns and the holsters, like hanging out, having drinks. I'm like, this does not feel safe, you guys.
I don't think, I mean, it just blows my mind. I used to hang out with, all my Army friends, and we'd be drinking, and they'd randomly be like, oh yeah, like, show me their conceal and carry. And I'm like, no. Yeah. Like, as soon as alcohol touches your lips, or the game plan is to go drink, we don't need you to have a firearm.
I thought that was illegal to carry a firearm when you're drinking.
I'm sure if it's not, it should be. But yeah, if legality is the thing.
It is in Minnesota.
Well, I'm just saying, if legality is the thing holding on to this, my Army friends were not too concerned.
We got to do something about it. We got to get control of this, because there are way too many people getting shot and murdered, and Jesus.
Well, and kids like that, they see it, and they're seeing it everywhere.
Yeah.
And you got like professional athletes waving guns around and Instagram posts and crap, and it's not like it's such a. I'm not blaming the gun. I'm not. It just sucks. I mean, it's just a confluence of things that come together there. And
let me put it this way: I have 3 guns, and they're all in my house, and nobody knows where they are. They're very safe. You cannot get at them, but nobody in my family knows where they are other than me. And that's how you should handle guns. You can't just, I'll just put it in the top dresser drawer.
Yeah.
No.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah, it is too bad. It's unfortunate.
The most read story on the Star Tribune, I just checked before I came in here, is about tipping.
Oh, we were going to get to that this morning. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, about the how much have we, we are getting asked to tip at every single encounter everywhere, no matter what now. And they took an interesting angle on it that I never even thought of, but because of it happened all during COVID, and everybody started automating all their systems, and they started using these iPad things.
Yeah.
And that's what they're basically saying, that's what all these new systems for checking people out are run by some of these similar outfits that just have that iPad thing that you turn around and tip.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are set up that way. Mm-hmm. So it's not like the business even designed it that way. That's just the way the computer program runs. And so it was pretty interesting. I never even really thought of that.
Yeah, that is really interesting. I wonder, there is a disservice I think that does to some companies too, because I keep in mind, obviously, the tipping aspect when I buy anything. And so I go, okay, but also now add this to this. All right, skip it. I'll just make coffee at home kind of thing. So it's one of those things where you go, are some of these smaller coffee shops shooting themselves in the foot? There's nothing I like more than when they say, hey, we've included the tip. It's all here. Just sign and go. I love that. I don't even care. Whatever it is, I love that I don't have to go, am I being a jerk by only giving them this? Or I love when they include it.
You know what amazes me is, remember that guy a couple of weeks ago, that started bitching at a woman because she left a 25% tip and that wasn't enough?
Yeah, the $5. She's like, $5
on the 20
for a pretty
bucks.
big house is $5 is a pretty low tip. She said something like that.
Your house is really big and nice. Why are you only tipping me $5? Because it's 25%, for Christ's sake. Remember, it used to be 10%?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now 25% is not even enough if you live in the right house. It's like, come on, really? That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's such and I think, most of us have probably worked in the service industry before, and I definitely get it, and I'm sympathetic to the service industry. But when you've not actually performed a service for someone other than just the basic duty of your job, which is to ring something up, that's where it gets I was at Target. I was at Target Center a couple months ago for a basketball game.
Yeah.
I got a bottle of water, which first of all costs $9.
I know.
Yeah.
a freaking bottle of water because it was a high school basketball game, so that you couldn't get a drink or whatever. And so the lady turns the thing around, and I kind of looked at it, and I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
And I didn't put anything down, and she's like, you could tell she was like pissy about it. I'm like, well, what did you do? I mean, no offense.
Yeah. It's a pretty simple act. I'm so bad. We were somewhere, and my sister and me and the kids, and I went and got us water, and it was about $8 a water, each little water bottle. So I said, each family's getting one. We can refill these in the water fountain. Like, it's not even. I cannot rationalize giving your 8-year-old son his own $8 water when I know he'll drink 4 sips and go put it somewhere. Like, it's so funny how all of a sudden you draw a weird line. I go, no, not everyone's getting their own water. It's per family, and you're sharing this. Finn, go fill this up.
Tom, this is funny because the water thing, when your kids were young, I've noticed this as my kids have grown up. There's been this weird cultural shift that everybody has to have their own freaking water with them at all times.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when did that start becoming a thing?
Well, there she is. She's got her water.
Yeah, always.
Constantly. Everywhere we go, my daughter forgets her water bottle, and then I got to double back to get it. And I'm like, I didn't realize you were this dehydrated.
Like, where are we freaking going? The Sahara Desert? Like, there's no water where we're going?
It's definitely more of an accessory and like, God, what you guys are going to make fun of me, but like a security blanket to always have my water with me. I usually have 2. I don't know what it is, but I love my water bottles for sure. And it's weird.
Is that a woman thing mostly? Because in my family it is. The women have water bottles or whatever.
Well, Steve Patterson carries around about 2 liters with him wherever he goes, so I don't know what that is.
2 liters of heroin?
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway.
I think sometimes it's a health thing too, and it's like a flex that you're healthy, that you've always got the water thing with you. You're like, look at me, I'm carrying water. I may not work out, but look, I drink a lot of water, so look at me. I'm healthy.
I'm healthy. I love that.
I don't know.
I love my water bottles. I don't know. It's probably a combination of not only do I want to look healthy, I want it to look, it has to be a cute water bottle. Like, it's all the things.
Look at Alex. Same thing.
Same thing. Oh, I know.
My daughter Alex is exactly like that.
Yeah. And then they'll be trending. Like right now, it's Stanley cups are very trendy to have.
Yeah, what's up with that, by the way?
Before it was a Yeti. I still have my Yeti that I
Yeti.
love.
I remember the Yeti.
Yeah, it's just funny how there's a new one like Owala or something where they're very colorful.
I don't get the
Starbucks cups. I don't know. I
don't get the Stanley thing at all.
Stanleys are huge. Yeah.
And they're like, I assume they're expensive, right?
Oh yeah, they're like $30. Yeah, for a water container. And if you're using it constantly, but the thing is, most people I know will keep trending and buying, so you literally have 15. We have quite a few, and then people, and then it's funny because it becomes self-perpetuating. Now, like, people buy me the Starbucks ones all the time as like a present. So now I have. There's no way I can use them all in a week before we wash them. So I'm always trying to switch them out, and it's ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous. What do you want?
But is it generally a woman thing? Because I don't see any guys carrying those around. Maybe they do, but I don't see it.
I don't see it as much with guys, for sure.
I don't know what that is then. Why do you think that is?
Well, I feel like I'm constantly packing things away for a trip I'm not going on. I've always got snacks and drinks and, and cash on me just in case. I don't know why. Like, I'm constantly hand lotion, lip gloss. Like, as I'm always about to go camping, but never actually camping.
I think and some of that comes with instinctually, like when you move into the motherhood sort of phase, and you're like, you start having to feel like you have to have everything in the world on you
at all times. Like the idea of stopping to get a snack when I could pull it out of my purse and hand it to Go-Go, and then just constantly. And like somebody's crabby. I don't know how many times I've wanted to hand Tom a granola bar. Like, here, just eat this. I think you'll feel better.
Oreo, baby.
Oh, is that good, Tom?
I haven't had it yet. Quest protein bar, Oreo.
I don't know I don't know what those things are, but whatever chemical composition they've come up with, they do flavor those things pretty well.
They are.
Why is there always something just a little off with them?
Yeah, that's true, but you're so freaking hungry, you're going to eat it anyway. It's like, fine. Oh, it's an Oreo cookie. And then like 10 minutes later, you're like, what the F was that I just ate?
And it was casually 300 calories. Like, I casually just had a 300-calorie snack. I mean, you got to watch out on those.
Well, this is $1.90. I just looked down and it's 190 calories for that. And this bar is not very big.
Yeah,
it's not
tiny.
huge. I don't know, whatever. So we got tipping, we got protein bars, we got everything covered.
There's a missing rabbit, Tom, and I want everybody to know
Oh,
about
we better find out.
Tell me. I hope it's not the one in our neighborhood.
It's at southern Minnesota at the Freeborn County Fair.
Oh.
Somebody stole a rabbit?
They don't know, but the family checked. They're called the Olsons. They checked in for the fair last week on Monday, and when the kids woke up on Tuesday morning, the rabbit's name was Flash, and it was open, and Flash was gone, and somebody let the goats out too. So that's why they think there might have been some kind of a issue.
Does Flash have some distinctive marks that we can be on the lookout for?
They found the goat. The goats have got out, but Flash is still missing as of last check.
Is there anything about Flash that would stand out if we're like living our lives and we see him?
That is a great question. First of all, Flash makes his way to the Twin Cities. That is one very, very fast rabbit.
Well, his name is Flash, so.
Yeah, that's true. I think he's black and white. I'll put a picture on my Facebook page because I don't have it in front of me. I just have the.
You post, I'll repost, bro.
Okay, listen, let's find Flash.
Let's find Flash.
Tom, don't you want to help find Flash? Let's get it started on social media.
I'm just hoping that Flash doesn't run into my daughter's dog, May, because Flash ain't going to be alive a lot.
Yeah.
That dog hates rabbits.
They hate rabbits, man. My dogs are freaking rabbit killers, too.
Oh.
Like, whoa.
Oh.
Not so much. He'll chase him, but he doesn't attack him.
We have a neighbor, the Hellers. They have a dog named Finley, but we've renamed him because all of a sudden we hear these screams like he was killing baby bunnies, and now we call him Ted Bunny because
Ted Bunny, I like it.
Because it was literally systematic. He was going around, and me and my neighbor Priscilla are sitting in the cul-de-sac, and he's just going around in a circle, and we're like, what is going on? He's just killing them systematically, one right after the other. It was terrible. Yeah.
It's a bad sound.
Oh, they scream. They like actually scream.
Oh, they do scream. Yes, I've heard that. They do indeed. All right, I'm screaming at Mr. Happy Pants now because it's time for you to get back on the air.
I thought I'd leave you with the vision of dogs eating rabbits.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. It's really nice. Yeah.
Enjoy your breakfast.
Hashtag find Flash.
So, ladies and gentlemen, news brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh for your free 48-minute financial evaluation. And again, love working with that boy. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Don't you think? As a matter of fact, Josh Arnold's going to be with us in about 14 minutes. He's going to be talking about how the economy's looking. And I like to go to experts rather than have somebody, it looks a little shady because I'm a news anchor. It's like, how the hell do you know? Right?
Yeah.
We'll be right back with all of that coming up next. Many of you have taken my recommendation to give mnfatloss.com a try. I'm hearing from so many people how this program has worked for them when nothing else would. The mnfatloss.com program really has discovered the secret to weight loss. Just like the program says, I lost about a pound of fat every day. I did the first 60 days in the maintenance program, and now I went back to the weight loss program to get my ultimate goal. And honestly, it's just not hard at all. I eat real meat, vegetables, fruits, and I'm not hungry. I don't feel deprived. They really have figured out the secret to fat loss. If you want to find out the secret to losing 20 to 30 pounds in just 8 weeks like I did, that's about a pound of fat every day, by the way. No exercise required. To schedule your free consultation, go to mnfatloss.com. That's mnfatloss.com. Results may vary. Be sure to tell the team at mnfatloss.com that Tom Barnard sent you.
Hi, I'm Mike Bryant, and I'm driving my car safely and legally communicating on my phone. Minnesota law allows a driver to use their cell phone to make calls, text, listen to music or podcasts, and get directions by voice command or single-touch activation without holding your phone. Violations are very expensive.
The National Safety Council reports that cell phone use while driving leads to 1.6 million crashes per year, and nearly 400,000 injuries are caused by texting and driving. Not surprising, since 4 seconds with your eyes off the road is like driving the length of a football field blindfolded. And research shows that just 2 seconds increases the risk of an accident up to 24 times. Texting may only take a second, but it can end your life or ruin it forever. Please drive safely and stay alive.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
I'm here talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, it seems like banking has changed quite a bit since you first opened your doors in 1998.
Yes and no. In 98, we didn't have online and mobile banking like we do today. Many banking processes have also changed. One thing that hasn't changed is we still provide a true community bank experience right here in the Twin Cities.
Our team takes the time to get to know our customers and their goals. This creates a relationship that is unique in banking today and one our customers appreciate. It's why we like to say we provide a better banking experience.
You're absolutely right, Brad. I've been a customer for a long time. The service your team provides is phenomenal.
Thanks, Tommy.
So why not bank with my banker, North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. On MyPillow's 20-year anniversary with over 80 million pillows sold, Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank each and every one of you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. Queen-size MyPillow's regular price is $69.98, now only $19.98, and just $10 more for king size. MyPillow's patented fill adjusts your exact individual needs to help you get the best sleep ever. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square to get Mike's amazing offer on the queen-size MyPillow for only $19.98. Enter promo code TOM. In addition to this special anniversary offer on the MyPillows, you will also receive deep discounts on all MyPillow products such as bed sheets, mattress toppers, pet beds, mattresses, My Slippers, and so much more. Take advantage of the biggest sale in MyPillow's history. Go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to take advantage of Mike's special offer on his MyPillow. That's MyPillow.com, promo code TOM. Oh, believe me, they just did, so don't worry about it.
We're on it. You know what?
What?
Take a breath.
No, you know what? Why don't people do their jobs?
Well, you can do both things. You can take a breath,
They
can do their jobs.
No, there were like 3 things wrong. And like, why?
They're crap. Their hair terrible. We'll kill them. Do you want us to put their heads on spikes?
No, I feed them to the rabbits.
Ooh, Flash. Hashtag find Flash.
But I mean, it's across the board now. Have you done anything recently where the people did the full job they were supposed to do?
Yeah, but I also have low expectations. So what I expect them to do is very low.
Okay, well, then it's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse, probably.
Whereas I expect them to do their job, and I will tell them that. Get off your ass and do your job.
Yeah, I know. You tell me every day.
And I should tell you every day. It's a goddamn disaster that you are.
Speaking of doing my job, I read a bunch of emails.
Oh, I'd like to hear those.
Officer Dave wrote in about he thinks that the limit while carrying a weapon is either .02 or .04 before it's a crime in Minnesota.
Right.
He hasn't dealt with it in a while, so he will make sure he looks into it before he comes back on.
I think .02, that would be the lower amount of alcohol, .02 and .04, you said?
Yeah, somewhere he said he was trying to figure out if it was one of those two. He will get back to us on the exact one.
Because I know it used to be .04 to drive a car. You could still drive a car up to .04.
What is it now?
I don't know.
.08? .08 was always...
.08, yeah.
Is legal. Okay.
I've never been tested for that, driving drunk. Oh, apparently somebody else has. Sorry for bringing that up.
Now I don't know it because it's been so long since I've drank. It's been 13 years.
It's been about that, yeah, because I think I'm at 12, I think.
Yeah, I think because mine, I quit drinking, and then you were like, you look so good, I'm going to quit drinking too. So
that's what it was. You inspired me.
You know what?
It might have had something to do with this redheaded woman that's about your height.
Hey,
guess who doesn't drink anymore? That'd be you.
That'd be you, Tom. People have a lot of opinions on the water. Eric wrote in, I'm with you, Britt. I only drink is coffee and water, so everywhere I go, I have my water with me. Jim wrote in, he wanted to know about tipping. when you talk about tipping later, when you do the industry professionals, think about splitting tips. Do they want the tip on the card or cash? Well, they want cash. I can tell you right now, they want cash because then they don't have to claim them.
Well, that's cheating on your taxes. I don't know if you want to do
I'm
that.
not saying that you should do this, but I'm just telling you.
You were smiling on camera when you said it.
I'm just telling you as somebody who
They don't pay their taxes.
I'm just saying.
Real nice.
It's kind of nice.
Although, you got to be honest with you. If they do raise the state income tax to 14%, like they're talking top rate, they're going to lose about a fifth of the entire population of this state. We would have the highest taxes in America.
Yeah.
Why? What point are we trying to prove here?
I don't know.
Maybe if I work, I should be able to keep most of the money, because at some point then, with that rate being at about 14%, they're going to make more money off of you working than you do.
Okay, is that 14% across the board, or do you have to hit
that's the top rate.
Okay, so like first you pay everybody the same rate, and then when you hit more, so it doesn't make sense for you to make that more money.
Yeah, why would you even want to work? And by the way, your generation has kind of picked up on it and said, well, why would I work so hard if I have to give it all to you?
Yeah, like there's a certain point you want to make your income to, and then not past that. But it is interesting. I didn't realize, because I always thought, well, then your whole income gets taxed at 14%. It'd be that top tier when you go over that certain amount. It's only that. Like let's say if you make $150,000 a year, that you get taxed at 4%.
4%? Where are you living?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out a number.
Yeah.
So then once if you made 180, the first 150 would still be taxed at that 4%.
No.
Nope.
And then that other. Are you sure?
Nope. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
You have to pay 14% on all of your income.
Really?
Yeah. And there's, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was a presidential candidate a few years ago, and basically his proposal was 10% for everybody.
Right.
That doesn't matter.
Per row.
Yeah. Well, there was another guy recently.
Oh, there was.
There
okay.
was. Yeah, and he was like 10% for it, and he kind of did the math, and they showed it and how it worked out. And I'm like, that's perfect. And then somebody had said, well, how come the American people won't allow this to happen? And the guy said, because it works. Yeah. That's why.
Well, there you go.
It works. So why would we ever implement something that can actually be beneficial?
And of course, do you know how many people would be out of a job if we just had flat tax? Oh, Jesus.
There's a whole industry there.
Yeah, there's a whole industry on making sure you pay all your taxes.
Do you want more emails?
I'd love to hear more emails.
Pat is...
No, not from Pat. Anybody but
I'm going to pass up Pat.
No, go ahead. We'll do Pat.
Pat, he says, carrying a water bottle has more to do with concern that you can't always find free water. You want to minimize the plastic bottles, or is annoyed at the $2. And then John wrote in, he uses coffee in the morning. He has he's obsessed with his Stanley. This is his third Stanley he's ever had, and he loves it because he's been dropped from 10 feet high multiple times and still survives.
Ooh.
So
what's he dropping stuff from 10 feet high?
I don't know, but
where is he?
He sent us a picture of his Stanley. So there was that.
It's a little odd, don't you think, that I dropped it from up here.
I'm
like, what?
I feel like there's got to be
a reason.
Right? Like, he looks like he does an intense job. Here's his photo of his Stanley.
Oh, my goodness. That's a nice looking cup right there.
That's a nice looking cup right there.
Yeah,
so maybe he does construction and he's on 10 feet. I don't know what you're doing with your life, but quit drinking coffee casually from 10 feet high.
I just realized that my two grandchildren that are 5 and 7, they have not one but 2 cups apiece at our house. They have their own cups.
Of course they do.
So why?
My nephews both have their own cups at my house for sure. And there are 2 Mickeys with big straws.
Mickey.
When they come over, even though, because Ike is 9 now, and he slept over the other day, and I kind of thought he'd forget, and I gave him a bubble water in a can, and he goes, where's my Mickey? I'll find it. Where is my Mickey cup? And I'm like, oh, yeah. I totally forgot. So, of course, he went in there, poured his bubble water in his Mickey cup, and...
There you go. They love them. They absolutely love those things.
They love those little traditions and that stuff, and it's so fun.
We used to just have plastic, not like the thin plastic cup, but the molded plastic glasses.
Yeah.
They were a big deal there for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. You do what you like.
Do you remember those? This was really popular with my Aunt Myrna. We'd go to her house, and she had those tumblers that are clear with the lines that go in a circle around
yeah.
it. There's
Yep.
like a name
Yep.
for it. There's a whole store at the Mall of America that only sells those. But like that is such a specific memory to me, is drinking those, and they have like little tennis rackets or something on
Why
them.
do they have these little circles in it?
I don't know. I want to remember their names. They had a specific name.
Yeah, that store was on the 3rd floor.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Then you're in the Minnesota store.
Yep, right next to the Minnesota store. And yeah, the crazy part is, I was offered a job to manage one of those places one time. You can make like $75K a year managing a cup store.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I quit. I'm going to go work at the Minnesota store or whatever. What's the Minnesota store?
That's the one where it's like from Minnesota with love, where they sell all the sweatshirts that say like, you betcha, you know. Yeah. It's not a campfire until someone burns their wiener. Like they sell
Honest to
T-shirts
God.
and stuff like that until,
Okay. Yeah, I haven't been to the Mall of America in a long time now. And it's not that I don't like the Mall of America. I just never go there.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Why wouldn't I go there?
I've been there recently. Nordstrom anniversary sale was like a month ago. And then in the winter, I'll go there in the middle of the day and walk around sometimes. Last winter I did.
I used to go there all the time because a lot of the guys that would come to the House of Comedy, like Brian Callen would come, and I've known Brian for years, so I'd go out and see him, and that kind of. That club's still open, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, I was there this weekend.
Because we don't really book anybody from there anymore.
Yeah. So who did we just have on recently? See, Jay Moore's House of Comedy.
Oh, that's right. He was a House of Comedy. That's
yeah.
right.
So we've had those guys come in. I'm working on Carlos Mencia. He's there next week.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
this week. He's there this week. So I think Friday and Saturday, 2 shows. But yeah, trying to get Carlos in. And then, we've had those guys on before. I think we're actually doing we're trying to get it in the works right now, but the Friends of Tom Barnard Show comedy night. Where like Adrian Washington, Mike Brody, Jesse Campbell, people who come on the show
nice
all the
people.
time. Yeah,
Very
we
nice
kind of do a night where we get everybody from our show together and do a night of stand-up.
Well, that'd be great. That'd be very nice.
People wrote in Herman Cain. They wanted you guys to
Herman
know.
Cain, there you go. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Excellent. What else do you have to contribute?
Nothing. That's it.
That's it?
Just
That's
other people
full
are doing my
contribution?
jobs for me, so I just have to
there
parrot
you
what
go.
they're saying.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
And John is a welder fabricator, so Stanley fell off the ladder while grinding. Okay, John.
Yeah.
Mind your business.
What?
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what you just said.
He's a welder and a fabricator, so Stanley fell off the ladder while grinding. I was making a joke that grinding was gross, but it was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Worked really well.
Totally lost on this one. It's like, what the?
It wasn't that good of a joke. It's fine.
I guess we'd have to kind of look at it that way.
You know what is no joke? Money. I'll tell you that right now.
That's what I understand. Oh my God, we're all going into deep depression, and it's going to be horrible. And I blame Josh Arnold. That's all I'm saying. Josh, how you doing, Pally?
You're blaming me already?
Well, I've known you long enough now. I can start blaming you for everything. No, I was sitting watching television over the weekend, and a couple of times, mostly on CNN, they kept talking about the fact that are we headed for a recession? It sure looks like it. Recession. And I don't want to comment on things like that because I don't know how money works like a Josh Arnold would know how money works. That's why I reached out to you. I'm glad you could come on. And because the other thing is, Josh, you tell the truth. If there is something coming our way, you've always pointed that out. But I wanted to run that by you. Is there a recession coming? And by the way, Pete, there's a huge difference between a depression and a recession. Most people, I guess, don't know that.
Yes, there is a big difference between a recession and a depression.
So
big difference.
There is a big difference. What's your take on this recession situation? Do you think we will? I mean, I suppose you do see off and on small recessions, but those are not the ones that make the news.
There are recessions. We've talked about this before. We could be in a period of time where we have rolling recessions.
Mm-hmm.
Recession being defined broadly as 2 straight quarters of negative GDP growth. Well, we had that 2 straight quarters of negative GDP growth, first during the government-mandated shutdown,
right?
During during COVID. And a year ago, the first 2 quarters of 2022, 2 straight quarters of negative GDP growth. But you did not hear anyone saying we were in a recession. Well, maybe a few people off to the side, but no media outlet, CNN or MSNBC or Fox or ABC, NBC or CBS was talking about a recession a year ago. They were talking about interest rates going up to stop massive inflation, but they weren't talking about negative GDP growth. We have had, since a year ago, we've had positive GDP growth, despite the fact that interest rates keep rising. And as many economists have pointed out, and investment people, at some point, a negative yield curve will produce a recession. Well, negative yield curve meaning that the short-term interest rates are higher than longer-term interest rates, and that is a typical precursor to a recession. Well, guess what? If we do have a broad recession, it'll be one of the most advertised in history.
You're right about that.
So now, and it's also, however, and this is something that's become a conundrum for the Federal Reserve. Inflation, well, not only inflation is sticky, but relating to wage inflation, but whatever the Fed is doing, trying to kick up unemployment by raising interest rates, because they feel that higher unemployment will slow the economy down and bring down wages. Whatever they're trying to do, unemployment keeps dropping. So we have a very low rate of unemployment, and very difficult if you have a low rate of unemployment and still a tremendous demand for jobs, and there's still a lot of jobs open, to have a recession.
Right.
Now, at some point that could happen, but it's not happening, broadly speaking, right now.
I just wonder why it is that these news stations, Fox does it, CNN does it, the others do it. I got to believe it doesn't help for CNN to go on the air and say, hey, are we going into a recession? Do they have enough viewers? They have millions of viewers, I think 10 million, something like that. Telling 10 million people that we're going into a recession, could that help trigger a recession?
Sure.
That's what I thought.
Stops. Oh, my goodness. Things are going to be bad, or things are bad. Better not do anything. Let's just take the money out of stocks, put it in the bank, put it under the mattress. If too many businesses, in particular small businesses, hear this, better not expand, better not start a business right now. No good.
Yeah, I just don't. I really wish the news channels would not try to make money off of other people's misery, and they all do it.
Well, as you know, from being, we'll say, from doing radio for at least a brief period of time, I think you've done it.
Yeah, a couple of years.
Just a few years. I know there was an old newspaper saying, if it bleeds, it leads.
Oh, yeah.
Negative news sells, and when talking about stocks, bad news also sells, and bears, as my number 2 son likes to say, bears always sound smarter than bulls.
Yeah.
But bulls always make money.
That's a great story. Well, thank you so much for this, Josh, because I don't know anything about this. That's why I talk to people like you and get my advice from people like you. But I see this, and I knew, because you and I had talked about this just about a week or two ago. Is there anything coming? And at that time you said no. Things are looking really pretty good. But I just don't want TV news to drive us into a recession by talking about this. So stop that.
Well, I've said that on, I'll say, my Money Talk show for a while. The more people hear about recession, the more people start acting as if there is one.
Yep, that's exactly right. And that's why I wanted to have you on. Now I have to put up with you 2 days this week, today and Friday. What's that all about?
We're just getting too close. That's all it is.
Oh, bookend, Josh.
Josh, thank you so much for coming on with us, because I just don't want people to think, just don't believe or believe very little of what the local news is fine. National news has gotten to be just a magnificent whorehouse. It's all about money always, right?
Yeah, it's always. Well, I had somebody say that to me the other day at the golf course. It's only about the money.
Yeah.
And I said, well, in some cases, that is true.
I guess so. Well, thank you, sir. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you on Friday.
You got a deal. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Josh Arnold. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, you can hear him every Friday with the family. He's got his own talk show. He's a very look. I got very lucky. I got to know Josh, and we spent a lot of time together. Go out to dinner once in a while and hang out and all the rest of it. And when I see things like that, I want to go, why don't we go to an expert and ask them? Maybe I shouldn't listen to the news anchor telling me we're going into a recession when I had just talked to people in the know saying, no, we're not going into a recession.
Mm-hmm.
And literally people think, because I talked to a couple of people after that, they went on and on this weekend about recession. People don't hear recession, they hear depression, and they think it's 1929 all over again.
Yeah.
And that ain't going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I suppose it could happen if they blow the world up or whatever. But I'm so glad that he was able to come on with us and say, no, there are no signs right now. Long term, who knows what's going to happen. But for right now, they're just telling you that to scare you so they can make more money because you watch more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't that terrible?
No, it is scary. And, a lot, I wasn't, buying and selling houses at the time, but my husband, he bought his first house in Lakeville with kind of the housing bubble that popped. And he's gun shy. When he hears things like this, it freaks him out.
I know.
He's like, well, Brittany, we've got a blah, blah, and it is true. It makes you nervous. There's a lot of similarities that kind of cue up his triggering. So I get it.
That's it. Yeah. There's no question about it. Everybody just wait to hear it from the experts, and news anchors are not experts. Other than Chris Egert, of course.
Of course.
Frank Vassalero.
Hashtag Fine Flash.
Yeah, it's a whole different world there.
Chris Egert, he's the Frank Vassalero of Minneapolis news.
Yes, he is. There's no getting around it.
If only we had one of those. Oh, wait.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so glad that went on. Because you're doing this to make money, you pigs.
Yeah.
Ugh. Why don't you get off your ass and go make some money? How about that? Instead of lying to people about this, that, or the other thing.
Josh seems like a pretty smart guy when it comes to this stuff. Guy. Because I remember there was a financial person we had on a morning show that I worked at, and I had asked, I said, what's the number one thing I should do with my money? Like, what's really, like, when it all boils down to it, should I invest it? Should I, should I put it into real estate? What do you suggest I should do? And she said, you should have money. You should have money.
Oh, you don't do that?
Okay.
You don't have...
Yeah, I'm asking you, how do I make money so I can have... Well, you should have money. That was great advice. That was so funny. Thank you so much for...
And your life has never been the same.
The same. It's been changed ever since.
You're very
I now
welcome.
have money. Thank you so much.
Do you think we'll ever get a national news show that doesn't lean heavily one way or the other, or is that just never going to happen? Because the money's all in making people nervous.
You give a lot of like nervous energy around people finding their news elsewhere. But I think that's a nice way to get rid of that clear divide. I know algorithms still are going to be confirmation biased, but I do think right now it's like I can't imagine jumping on a news network and deciding which network, knowing that they are just going to lean one way or the other.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
No,
That's
thank
exactly
you.
what I'm saying.
So
There's nobody in the middle.
Yeah, I
Is
think
there?
I have no idea because that's not how I get my news.
How do you get your news?
Usually I jump on about 500 different websites and read about 500 different things.
That's even worse.
Yeah, why would I want to know that Fox is giving me this or CNN is giving me this?
I know. I agree.
It feels very like, here, take your medicine, bitch. You know, like, I don't want that. I know what you're doing. I know what you're pushing. I know you're going to pretend have a veiled both sides. Like, no, thank you.
Do your own research, in other words, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but you also have to have a lot of time to do it.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, my God.
Well, it's all about money. It's money, 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 money. That's what everything's about now, so good for you. Because you've got a small penis. That's the problem.
Money talks.
We got to take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Barnard here for Power Lodge and Miller Marine. Attention, all power sports enthusiasts. This August, we invite you to celebrate with Power Lodge as they hit a major milestone, 25 years of bringing action and excitement to Minnesota as your go-to destination for all things marine and power sports, of course. To say thank you, each of their locations will host a local community appreciation day. It's a great idea. Join Power Lodge in Brainerd, Ramsey, Onamia, or St. Cloud as they roll out the red carpet with delicious food, amazing prizes, fantastic giveaways, and unbeatable special pricing. As the grand prizes, they'll be raffling off a variety of Polaris ATVs and snowmobiles. Check out powerlodge.com for event dates near you this Saturday, August 12th. Join Hubbard and Ramsey at Power Lodge from noon to 2, win Tom Barnard Morning Show and SKOR North swag. Plus, someone who registers to win on Saturday will score a pair of Gopher Cornhusker home opener football tickets. Ooh, that'd be fun. Great stadium, too. That's on the 31st of August, by the way. Lower level seats and on the 50-yard line. What do you think of that action?
Yeah.
Follow Power Lodge on social media as they unveil 25 days of deals on the latest off-road and on-road vehicles, boats, and supplies from the top brands in power sports. That's right. 25 days of back-to-back incredible offers. You won't want to miss this. Mark your calendar for this Saturday and get in on the action during the 25th anniversary Power Lodge, where throttle therapy begins. There's a guy named Tom Cross who likes to do kite things. Tom takes the phrase, go fly a kite, to an extreme, and for years goes all over the country in search of great kite flying events. Lincoln City, Oregon comes to mind with Chinook winds and 7 miles of pristine beach that draws folks from all over North America for the best kite flying conditions in the world. Tom brings a little Minnesota with him when he goes to Lincoln City in his new 2109S Rockwood Mini Light travel trailer. The new lightweights from Rockwood are very popular. Tom hauls his trailer from Niemeyer Trailer Sales in Albertville and Elko New Market, Minnesota. Niemeyer Trailer Sales is the only place Tom would prepare his next kite flight. Solar panels, exterior griddle, air conditioning are just a few of the standard features in his Rockwood by Forest River, from the place that is your ultimate RV headquarters since 1965. This is Tom Barnard. Visit my friends at Niemeyer Trailer Sales and take your passion on the road. Niemeyer Trailer Sales. Go to NIEMEYERS.com. Niemeyer Trailer Sales.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. There's plenty of thoughts that come into your head when you think the name Killebrew. Of course, there's the Minnesota baseball legend, Harmon, who was responsible for many a favorite memory at the old Met Stadium in Bloomington, and many a baseball that ended up in the stands and in the gloves of adoring fans from his home runs. There's Killebrew Drive, the legendary road that connects Highway 77 to the Mall of America, and a day of shopping you'll never forget. My current thoughts for the name Killebrew is fun floats in our kitchen with my kids and grandkids, a cool, refreshing break in between innings at Target or CHS Field. Or maybe a perfect sunset paired with a sweet, frothy beverage after fishing or on your favorite walleye lake. Killebrew root beer and cream soda. Grab a six-pack at a grocery or convenience store near you. I'm Tom Barnard. This spring and summer, enjoy the one Killebrew root beer and cream soda. Gluten and caffeine-free with a generous portion of delicious thrown in. Killebrew, where memories are created and legends are made. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. My God, it's already 9:22. And my God, that means we have to talk to Phil Mackey. What do you think of that?
Oh, what a drag. What a drag. If you thought your Monday was bad already, now you get a dose of me. Yes.
Where are you?
I'm in the SKOR North studios that we barely ever use.
I was going to say, you're holding the mic up in your hand. I love that.
So, well, yeah, if I could turn this, I'd show you. So we are multitasking here. Our producer, Declan, is recording a Purple Daily episode on the other side of the glass here with the main studio equipment. So I have my backpack remote microphone set up here with a picture of Randy Moss mooning the Packers fan.
I remember that.
And Joe Buck, by the way, just apoplectic.
Oh, yeah.
That was 19 years ago.
Really?
A despicable act by... Did he actually pull his pants down, Joe? Calm down, guy.
Dumb. I meant to send this to you guys when I was in Boise last week. I was in a bar and there was a guy in there who was like a big sports memorabilia guy, and I came across a signed Randall Cunningham #7 photo. I'll hold it up so you guys can see it.
Oh wow, look at that!
And they had this thing as far up the wall as you possibly could get. Like the edge of it was literally, if you look at the next photo, I took a photo for how high it was on the wall there.
Yeah.
And I climbed a ladder to get a picture of that thing. And I'm like, why do you keep it all the way up there? And he goes, you'd be amazed at how many people don't like Randall Cunningham.
Yeah, I think people loved Randall Cunningham until the second half of the 1998 NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, little urine coming down his leg probably impacted things.
Geez, that's never happened to the Vikings before. What are you talking about?
No, never once. It's amazing. By the way, I'm going to head out to Vikings training camp today. They've got a practice today, practice tomorrow. It's a night practice for fans tomorrow, and then they play their first preseason game on Thursday. But I saw a graphic. I think it was on like the CBS Sports Twitter account or something a couple weeks ago, and they listed every team in NFL history by how many division titles they've won was the first row, and the Vikings have like the third most division titles ever.
Yep.
And then below that, they put how many Super Bowl championships each team has. and the Vikings are third in divisions. The top 10 teams in division titles have like 40 Super Bowl titles combined.
Yep.
And we're still one more. Maybe this is the year, though. Maybe this is the year.
I'm holding my breath. I'll tell you seriously, I cannot tell you. Like I said, I started watching the Vikings because my brother Terry came home from Vietnam. And I wanted to spend some time with him. So at 15 years old, because I didn't watch him the first 6 years, I turned 15. I started watching with my brother, and I've been a huge fan. And the 1970s was an amazing time to be a Viking fan, except you got your heart crushed 4 different times.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. And I feel like, you know, we have 2 or 3 shows a week on Purple Daily where we welcome fans in to sort of help us co-host the show. Just, we want to be fan-friendly. And I usually find that people got hooked in one of 3 different, really it's like one of 3 different eras or even specific seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You either became a Vikings fan in the 70s. It was either one of the Super Bowl years that hooked you in as a 15-year-old or like a 12-year-old.
Right.
Or you got hooked in 1998. Or you got hooked if you're sort of a Gen Zer, you got hooked on the Brett Favre season of 2009. And I don't know how many people got hooked in the 80s. There was kind of a weird... they weren't bad in the 80s, but they just weren't as fun, I guess, or relevant. But you talk to almost any Vikings fan. When did you become a fan? Oh, the 98 season.
Yeah.
Or, the Bud Grant, Purple People Eaters. Yeah. I wish I was... It's one of my local sports regrets is the year I was born was 1985. I would love to have been alive.
Whoops.
To just experience a little bit of like outdoor, miserable, grinded out football in the 70s, the Purple People Eater era. You know?
It was phenomenal. It was great. When they were at Met Stadium, the old baseball stadium, Steve Hatley and I had a pair of tickets on the third deck behind home plate. Watching a football game from way up there was amazing. God, that was wonderful.
Yeah, but that IKEA is pretty badass right now in Bloomington.
Yeah, you can have a lot of iconic moments there as well.
IKEA?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think aren't we, well, I guess the Mall of America technically sits on the stadium grounds,
Yeah,
but
right.
the IKEA across the street. Did you know, Tom, my first ever interview in my media career was as a second grader. I was 8 years old.
Oh, God.
And I interviewed Carl Eller.
One of my favorite Vikings of all time. I loved him. Great guy.
Did you have hard-hitting questions, Phil? What did you ask him?
One of my questions, it was for a school project, and Carl and my dad both worked in sort of the alcohol rehab sector of the county. And so they had kind of become acquaintances or friends for a while. And so he arranged, we had to interview someone for like a second grade project. And my dad thought it'd be a pretty fun flex if my son interviewed Carl Eller, one of the greatest pass rushers of all time. So before we did this like little 10-minute sit down, we went to the old Hubert's across the street from the Metrodome.
Sure.
Which was it was really the only sports bar for, 10 or 15 years within a couple blocks of the Metrodome. So we meet for lunch. So my dad wanted to introduce me to Carl first, hey, so we walk in, and Carl, Carl's probably in his early 50s at the time. So he still had the physique, the big hands, And so we walk in, again, I am 8 years old. And I know sports trivia enough as an 8-year-old. So my dad introduces me and says, Philip, this man right here is Carl Eller. And he played in 4 Super Bowls with the Minnesota Vikings in the 1970s.
Wonderful.
And my smart ass responded. And he lost them all.
Oh! Oh.
What?
Like just trying to show I know sports trivia.
It's like you spitting out any facts. That happens to me all the time. You spit out any facts you have around the information. You realize, oh no, I'm a monster.
There's this moment right now I'm thinking about from the movie Airplane where that kid is talking to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And he's like, my dad says you only average 2.8 rebounds per game when you should be moving your ass up and down the court. And Kareem just like turns around and he was like, you tell your old man, you know how hard it is to work down in the paint? Yeah.
My dad says, Lanier, kick your ass up and down the court.
How did he respond, Phil?
Luckily he laughed his ass off, and I don't know, we ate lunch or whatever, and then we went and did this little 10-minute interview. And my dad wanted me to just craft the questions on my own. So I just asked questions that a second grader would ask Carlo, like, how many touchdowns did you score in your career?
Yeah.
And he kind of laughs. He's like, well, I scored 1 touchdown one time, but I was a defensive player, you dumbass.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Hey, still, it's like, that's so cute. Did you record it, or were you just like?
We did record it, but I have a copy on my computer that at some point. So this is 1992 now. So this is 25 years ago, whatever, 31 years ago.
Jesus.
And Carl he made us promise, hey, this is just for a class project, right? This isn't like gonna be distributed anywhere. You guys aren't trying to make money off this or whatever. And we promised, no, this will just be for the class and for family. But it's been 30 years.
Right?
So I feel like we can play it on Purple Daily or maybe on this show at some point. And I don't think he would get mad about it. We could even ask him, hey, it's been 30 years, Carl. Do you care if we...
I say you give it a re-listen, make sure there's nothing in there that would be awkward, and then send it to him and say, can I play this now that I'm in... I mean, think about the career you've built around all of that and that being such a starting point.
He'd probably think it's cool, right? Like this little rugrat that was asking me dumb questions about scoring touchdowns now
is still
inexplicably gets paid to talk about sports for a living.
Still asking dumb questions, but just getting paid for it.
I got to be honest with you. The first time I ever met Carl Eller, he was in front of me at Associated Bank there is right down the block from here.
Yeah.
It was called something else at that time, but he was in front of me in line at the bank. So, I don't know, he turned around and said hello or whatever, and I just, we were talking about this, that, and the other thing, and I'm just having a great time because I have always loved Carl Eller. First time I ever met him, And apparently, you know, I had just gotten up because my voice was like this deep. It was really deep when I wake up. And he goes, Tom, I got to. And by the way, let me point out to people who might not know, Carl Eller is 6 inches taller than me, and his shoulders are about twice as wide as mine are. And I started getting, you know, pretty excited about this, that, or the other thing. And all of a sudden he goes, hey, Tom, cut back, man. You're scaring me. It's like, yeah, okay. Yes, I bet you're terrified of me, Carl.
You're breathing on me, sir. Yeah.
He is huge, man. People don't know how big that fella is.
Yeah, and those guys, God, we were at a restaurant getting lunch this weekend, and we just kind of saw my wife and I were on mute on the bar TV. They were showing the Hall of Fame inductions, and they still now they'll put like 7 or 8 players in, and there was an old Jets player from the 80s, and God, those guys that played in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they didn't get rich, really. They had second jobs.
Right.
You know, they took a beating physically, and now they're kind of left to look around, you know, does anyone remember me? Am I able to get out of bed? So it's just kind of, you know, those guys who were heroes to a lot of people, not as much Carl necessarily, but they struggle later in life, and it's kind of sad to watch that era of NFL players now.
No, I think you're making a really good point because, well, look, I've been very, very lucky, and Phil, and probably everybody on the show, to have made friends with some of the football players, baseball players, all the rest of it. Like Chuck Foreman. I adore Chuck Foreman. He's one of my favorite people in the world. And I feel very, very fortunate to have even met the guy. And we became good friends, which I love that stuff. I really do. I'm a big fan of that whole setup, you know?
Yeah, we lost Phil.
Yeah, I was going to say, I could hear Phil was having a little bit of a breakup in his connection. So we'll if he pops back on, we'll bring him back up. It's already 9:33, so I don't know if he will or not, but if he pops back in, I'll bring him up.
Nope. Declan's at fault here.
It was really funny, too, because obviously, you know, I didn't grow up watching sports at all. I don't know much about sports, but I love our conversation we have around it. But I always knew Philip Wise as Philip Wise.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Philly. I knew because I'm not an idiot. I knew he played football, but I just knew him on such a personal level. And then one day he shows me these photos. He's like, hey, I got something for you. And he brought in these photos for me that he printed out for me. They were, you know, of him walking or running past OJ in a game. And it was just really cool where I'm like, of course all this happened.
It would have been the other way around.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Where OJ was running past him. I have it still that he gave me.
That's when he was with the Jets.
Yes, and it was just like, of course all that happened, but sometimes you meet people in a weird circumstance where I always thought of him as a coworker or, you know, this on-air presence. I just love Philip Wise.
My favorite Philip Wise story, because I've known Philip about 40-some years
Which
now.
is crazy.
Long, long time. I don't get to see him anywhere near as much as I'd like to anymore because, you know, his health's not that great, but he and I used to go running on Theodore-Worth Parkway.
Great running spot. Just ran over there the other day.
A lot of hills, all the rest of it.
It's beautiful.
But he pissed me off because he ran backwards.
Yeah, that's not a great feeling.
And thanks a lot, Philip. I feel so good about my athletic ability now. You're running backwards and are still faster than I am.
So I've been running a lot lately, like a lot. I've been running with the Go-Go. It's one of our things we do when I get done with this show is I try to run before it gets too hot with her in the running stroller. And I was running with Justin not too long ago, and he barely ever runs.
Okay.
And he was determined to push the stroller because of the optics of it. And I was like, listen. Like, there's just times where you go, listen. I'm a better runner than you right now. Yeah, get it. Granted, if Justin wanted to, he could run a couple weeks and be way, you know, surpassing me. But in that scenario, I was like, knock it off. Let me push the running stroller. Otherwise, we are going to be doing 12-minute miles, and nobody has time for that.
Hey, Phil, you're back.
Oh, God.
I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, it's almost like the 23-year-old AM radio studio that we're trying to Jamie rig into a YouTube studio needs an internet facelift. So we'll try a different device here and see if this holds up.
I mean, who would think that you're in a building that literally has its own designated tower and you're still struggling?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we're trying. It's funny because we're literally trying to take the old AM 1500 talk studio that's I don't know when the last time they remodeled this was, but we're trying to jimmy rig. It's like when people put spoilers on Honda Civics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there you go.
We're trying to jimmy rig this into a YouTube studio, and it's like we're trying to drive at like 125 miles an hour on the freeway, and it's needling at 105 telling us back off. So hopefully the internet.
Is that literally the one that I worked in all those years ago? Is that the same 1500 studio?
I don't think it's the same building.
It is the same building, yeah.
I think at some point in like the late 90s or the early 2000s, I think they remodeled and they flipped where the producer control room is in the main studio. So, but it is definitely the same building because this building goes back to, the 1950s, I want to say.
Great building.
I think the only studio that's still exactly where it was first built is that one that's back in the corner, way back in the corner on the SKOR North side. If that's still there. Yeah, kind of by Mary's office back there. Yeah, I think that's the original. But everything else, you're right. But a lot of those old analog boards, they sound so good. And I'm so glad.
You know what's funny? They're durable more than you would think, too. Do you remember a weekend producer named Joe Dunford, Joey D?
No.
So he produced like Saturday morning sports talk with Suture and Royce for a while. And he's one of the nicest guys ever. He, about 4 years ago, and these are 30-year-old. These are classic mixing boards that are going to be in the museum at some point. But they still work and whatever. He spilled a full cup of coffee right in the middle of the board.
What a shock!
Oh, that's
who ever heard of that?
Oh, the terrible feeling.
God.
And all of us are kind of like, oh, maybe we get some digital mixing boards, right?
Yeah.
Sure enough, we have such amazing engineers. They spent the whole weekend drying it out, fixing it. They had to order like one extra part. It like the Crypt Keeper, it just came back to life. It sat up from the casket. The mixing board is still in play.
Yeah.
I got to come over there and maybe you could lead me around. Because back in the day, you just had to go up the 2 flights of stairs and you'd be right there at the 1500 studios.
Yeah.
And just talking to you guys, one of the reasons I'd like to go in that space again, even though it's not a studio anymore, is because I would say 80% of the guys I worked there with died very young. And I mean killed in motorcycle accidents, all kinds of stuff. They died very, very young. So, I mean, going in there, I think Chuck Knapp, it might be Chuck Knapp and I might be the only ones that are still alive. Everybody else died in accidents and tragedies.
Nap and Donuts, man. I grew up on not only Tom Bernard, but Nap and Donuts in the 90s.
But Nap and Bush was the original one, and then Charlie was the first one to die. And I think he died at like 58 or something. And
so basically, if you work in this building for a chunk of time, feel unsettled is what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying it would give me great memories and great feeling just to walk in what used to be that studio. And remember, Larry Carolla. I mean, he's another guy. Died very, very young. Don't point at your watch to me,
You're welcome in here.
She's telling me to get you the hell off the air. Do you have to get off?
So I do. We actually have. So tonight, Monday Night Raw, WWE Monday Night Raw is at Target Center, downtown Minneapolis.
Of course it is.
Yeah, don't tell Brittany. She's got her tickets.
Yeah.
Are you going?
No, I am not. I took my one friend, Eric, to that Table, Ladders, and Chairs TLC one time, and it is an experience.
So I was at that too, by the way, floor seats for tables,
of
ladders, and chairs.
Of course you were.
So Declan and I, we have a little connection with the WWE who found us some floor seats again tonight. And Natalia has the most women's wins of any women's wrestler in WWE history. And she's actually coming in studio here, assuming we can get the internet to work the way we want in like 3 minutes. So
did you just?
We're gonna geek out.
Are you torturing me now? Because almost every professional wrestler I used to hang out with is dead too. Thanks a lot,
Phil. Thanks, Phil, for leaving us with this.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remind you of all the dead people, all the ghosts in your life.
Thanks, Phil. Have a great day. Enjoy your little show. And
Tom.
Yeah.
Your little show. That's
I meant the Raw one, not his actual show.
Either way, we're good.
All right, love you, Phil.
I'll talk to you guys on Friday. See ya.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Phil Mackey. Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Beyond with Kent Herbeck on Friday. No, I mean that kind of stuff does mean things to me. To walk in the room where I met all those people for the very first time, but then he brings up wrestling, made it worse because Jesse Ventura, I think, is the only one still alive that I used to hang out with. The rest of them are all dead.
And I wonder, God, I wonder what like the main threads. I mean, they have a high tendency to take risk, right? They're high risk people.
Like steroids, you mean?
Not only rape, but you said motorcycle accidents and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So you go, okay, is it a personality trait or is it, of course you think medical, steroids, so it's so painful on your heart.
Yeah, it's really bad.
But yeah, I wonder what the common threads would be with some of that.
Well, it's exactly what you're talking about. First of all, if you're a public figure, it does take its toll on you. There's no question about that it just does. And with wrestlers, it was almost always steroids. And I'm not talking about guys who died at because they got old. None of them got old. I mean, they started dying at like 42, I think, in wrestling. My God. Well, yeah, Hawk was, I think, 42 when he died. Maybe a little older than that, but not much.
Me and my mom were talking about this the other day. Shout out, Beverly. Talking about you and how it's so crazy that you didn't take steroids because
I wouldn't do it.
Because it's like it was an unstudied thing at the time. It was like, hey, take this thing. It was kind of like when e-cigarettes came out and we didn't know that they were necessarily as bad for you as cigarettes.
Yeah.
It was an unstudied thing going around in your community that said, hey, take these and you can bulk up quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be if my friend was handing me something and it's fine, I probably would just take it.
Mm-hmm. Not me. No way.
I know. That's amazing. Me and my mom both agree that was amazing. If you're at the beginning of the steroid.
At the very beginning, yeah.
And there wasn't all this research now. If you're taking steroids, you know where your path is probably going. But back then, there wasn't anything saying that this is necessarily bad for you or could kill you.
No, there was no proof there was anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
Until people started dying, of course.
Yeah.
That changed everything.
Was a big part of it, because I know the saying roid rage really came out of that. Was that a big problem you saw in guys then with domestics and stuff?
That was the number one reason I didn't do them. I didn't do steroids because can you imagine me having roid rage? Oh, God, it would have been hideous. It would have been absolutely. I saw things happen when guys were in roid rage. Oh, I mean, I swear to God, those guys were so big, so strong, so steroided out. They could literally tear a human being in half if they wanted to.
Yeah, there's a show called The Program, an old movie, 20 years ago called The Program, where one of the players is on steroids, and when he finds out that he makes, the starting roster for the defense, he freaks out and goes out in the parking lot and smashes his head through a window of a car. And somebody was like...
In Happiness?
No, not in Happiness. No, it's called The Program.
No. I'm saying that.
Yeah.
He did this. His emotions were so unhinged that he was this happy that he smashed it.
He was so excited. He went out, and the coaches see it, and they're like, he said something like, "Can you tell Coach to not have a steroid test on Monday?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's hold off on the steroid test."
Yeah.
And then come to find out, the guy who wrote that movie, he wrote that because that specifically happened to him when he was in football in college. A guy found out that he made the roster, went out and put his head through it because he was freaking out, and just had to go get 12 stitches in his head, and then didn't care. Crazy.
Before steroids, just to have people, and I'm talking about the late 60s and then into the 70s. It really got big in the 70s. But back then, I believe the world bench press record was 405. That was back in the late 60s.
Okay.
It is now 1150.
Oh, yeah.
But protein.
Jesus.
But protein.
There's a lot of protein involved.
Yeah.
1,150 pounds for Christ's sake.
CrossFit.
Yeah.
CrossFit, yeah.
Lyle Elzado, that was like the first big death when he played for the Raiders. Remember that?
Brain.
He was, just this massive dude who just long hair, mullet, had the glasses. He was just a badass. And then all of a sudden one day somebody saw him and they're like, what's up with him, man?
Yeah.
It's just dwindling down to nothing. And it was the steroids had just completely taken over his body and killed him. Yeah.
He said that growth in his head was almost as big as his whole brain.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It just ate away at his brain.
Ugh.
Unfortunate. Nice guy, by the way. I never met him, but I talked to him on the phone on KQ once many, many years ago. I think it was maybe it was before that. Could not have talked to a nicer guy.
Yeah, and the before and after photos I'm just looking at them. Devastating to look at him because when he was on the field, them giant arms and that big beard, and then there's just a shell of what he used to be.
Yep.
So
awful.
Back in the day, before it was kind of regulated and looked at, were steroids looked at no like no long-term consequences? Like, did they say that?
No, they said there are no consequences at all. It's been tested and tested and tested. This will not hurt you in any, because they didn't know.
Yeah.
They had no idea. But if you're all of a sudden building massive muscle structure, that just doesn't happen without a consequence.
Don't you worry about things like that for, like, Ozempic is the big thing now, taking Ozempic, and you go, of course, I want to trust that people's doctors know best, but you go, how much has this been studied? If you're using this for weight loss, what are the long-term effects? Like, that just scares the heck out of me.
Plus, you get a pimply back. That's the other part I didn't like.
Steroids?
Steroids give you pimples everywhere on your back.
On your butt, too, I bet.
On your butt, too, yes.
Yeah.
All right, we do have to take a break. Lisa Guerrero will join us right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show.
Hi, this is Tom Barnard here for Power Lodge and Miller Marine. Attention all power sports enthusiasts. This August, we invite you to celebrate with Power Lodge as we hit a major milestone, 25 years of bringing action and excitement to Minnesota as your go-to destination for all things marine and power sports. To say thank you, each of our locations will host a local community appreciation day. Join us in Brainerd, Ramsey, Onamia, or Sauk Rapids as we roll out the red carpet with delicious food, amazing prizes, fantastic giveaways, and unbeatable special pricing. As the grand prizes, we'll be raffling off a variety of Polaris ATVs and snowmobiles. Check out powerlodge.com for event dates nearest you. And that's not all. Throughout August, we've got something special planned. Follow us on social media as we unveil 25 days of deals on the latest off-road and on-road vehicles, boats, and supplies from the top brands in power sports. That's right, 25 days of back-to-back incredible offers. You won't want to miss this. So mark your calendars and get in on the action during our 25th anniversary. Power Lodge, where your adventure begins. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you. Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? Hi, I'm Dr. Adam Schatzko with mnfatloss.com, and I know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no surgery, and no hypnosis, go online to mnfatloss.com.
If you're interested in losing weight, I highly recommend the MN Fat Loss Program. I started the program earlier this year. I've lost 28 pounds. Honestly, it's been easy. I don't have to exercise. I eat delicious real food, and I'm not hungry. I recommend the program to anyone wanting to lose weight.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 763-312-7600 or schedule online at mnfatloss.com. That's mnfatloss.com.
Dr. Adam Schatzko, DC. Results may vary.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Lisa Guerrero with us. How you doing, Lisa?
I'm doing great, Tom. How are you?
Marvelous now that you're here.
Aw, shucks.
You're going with aw, shucks. Is that what you're going with? Yeah. You know, Lisa is working on a million different things. I was just looking at, boy, you got about 15 different things going on right now, Lisa.
Yeah, it's because I don't have kids, and so that affords me a lot of time to focus on my career, which I do like 7 days a week, but it's fun. I feel really blessed to have these many opportunities, to be honest with you. Amazing.
I understand that. Secrets of Playboy on A&E, final 2 weeks of the episode, Mondays at 9 p.m. The episodes Lisa has featured and premiered Tonight and August 14th, as a matter of fact, Lisa's long-awaited debut memoir, Warrior, My Path to Being Brave. There's so many things to talk about, but the secrets of Playboy, I just watched a special on that whole situation, and I cannot remember. I think, Lisa, you would probably know this, that he bought the Playboy mansion in L.A. for like $1.1 million.
Yeah, back in the day, he was moving the organization from Chicago to Los Angeles, and he wanted to have this mansion, kind of, this palatial estate that he could host parties and have photo shoots. So he bought the Playboy mansion. And interestingly, through the years, and I've been to the Playboy mansion, and it is nothing like you would imagine. It smells like mildew. It was always kind of musty. Yes. There were dirty old drunk men everywhere in all the corners. So it wasn't the glamorous place that a lot of people think it is. And that's kind of part of what we explored on season 1 of Secrets of Playboy last year. I hosted the final 2 episodes then. And we really focused on Hugh Hefner and the dark side of the mansion and what happened. A lot of women claim that they were sexually assaulted and abused. And there was a lot of drug use and drug abuse within that organization at the time. This season, on season 2, we take a sharp turn and we really explore the stories of the women themselves, why they made the controversial decision to pose, what happened during the time that they posed, and then what the consequences have been in their life since then with their careers or families, their personal lives. And so it's really fascinating. Tonight, on the first episode that I host, we talk to professional athletes, women who chose to commodify their brands as athletes by posing in Playboy, and what happened to them and what the reaction was from the sports community and from their families. And next week, we talk to women in uniform that posed, and also, for example, the first woman in a wheelchair that posed, one of the first Black women that posed, the first transgender woman that posed. So we talk to women about their specific stories and journeys and what the ramifications of being associated with the brand have been to them, which are all really different stories. Nobody has the same story.
Lisa, that's so interesting. Do you ever find any common threads, like for the majority, are people finding that they're proud they did it? Do they regret it? Kind of what would be the common things you've noticed?
Thanks, Brittany, for asking that. There's about 50-50. So I would say, half of the women that we've spoken to and that we know about were really proud of their association with Playboy. They were happy that they posed. They had a great relationship with Hugh. Nothing bad happened to them. So they kind of came away with a positive experience. But then there were, another roughly half of the women that we talked to were really traumatized and felt they were too young to be making this decision. Yeah. They signed contracts that they felt that they were kind of forced to sign without having a lawyer look at it. And as we now know, in the last couple of decades, all of those images and videos that were taken through 50 or 60 years have been sold to hardcore porn sites without these women's permission.
God. Wow.
And so now these women don't have, any agency over their images out there in the world because they signed contracts when they were young. Some of them had been drinking at the time. They were giving them champagne and drugs, pot or wine. And so they were signing these contracts on the set that they didn't even know what the contracts meant. They just wanted to be Miss July 1972. They didn't know the internet was going to happen and that this was going to be a thing in their lives forever. So that's kind of what we're exploring, is that different people have different perspectives about what happened to them. And I think it's fair to say that after the Me Too movement, I think we can all talk about, why it is that it's okay for men to look at Playboy through the years, but it's not okay for women to pose for the Playboy magazine. And so the brand, I think we can really, drill down on those stories and think about that. I think that's fair.
I have a question for you about that, Lisa, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I've never understood, I got to be honest with you. I saw Playboy when I was a much younger kid and all the rest. I was a teenager and all the rest of it, and it was fascinating at first. But then after a while, I turned 16, 17, whatever it was kind of like the same picture of different women. And I found out a short time after that I kind of liked being present if a woman was going to be naked. You know what I mean? Is that a weird thing? I just never got much out of looking at naked women's pictures. I did when I was very young, but that was about it.
I think that's really I don't know how old you are, but at certain eras, for men that didn't have the availability of like the internet back in the day. In fact, the first time I ever saw a naked woman was in Playboy. I went with my dad to a barber shop and they had a Playboy magazine on the coffee table. Yep. And so I thought, that's how women are supposed to look. That's the standard of beauty, right? That's what we're going to look like someday, or that's what we should be trying to look like. So I think it's really generational, to be honest with you, Tom. And I think that, men today, as we now know, science has shown and studies have shown that young boys and young girls are exposed to porn, hardcore porn on the internet and on their devices really young. So it's not, it's almost like quaint now, right? Playboy, naked boobies or something. It's like, it's quaint compared to what kids are exposed to today, which also makes it even weirder that all these women have been slut-shamed all these years for decades for showing, what is really, truly, their own choice to show their naked form or not. That's their choice. And it's, honestly, Playboy was pretty tame back in the day. No,
it was no question about it. Lisa has only got one more minute left, so I got to ask you if you've ever heard the story about Johnny Carson talking about the infamous picture of Burt Reynolds naked with his hand covering his genitalia. You remember that picture?
Oh, was that in Playgirl, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Again, people thought that was great, and it was, just added to his masculinity and his star power.
Right.
It's okay for men to pose nude. It's okay, it's okay for female or for male athletes to pose nude in ESPN, the magazine. But if, female athletes pose in Playboy, that's a different story, which is something we talk about tonight on A&E on Secrets of Playboy. So that's kind of the conversation, and I think that's really interesting. But no, I didn't ever see Johnny Carson talking about it.
Okay.
I'm sure it was hilarious.
Very quickly, he said, I got to be honest with you, they came to me before they came to Burt Reynolds to take that picture, but they couldn't find a catcher's mitt.
Of course,
well played, Johnny.
Well played, Johnny. Lisa Guerrero, ladies and gentlemen. Secrets of Playboy on A&E, the final 2 weeks of episodes tonight and next week. Lisa, always great to see your name on the docket. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you so much, Tom, and thank you, Brittany.
Oh, thank you. You're so lovely.
Oh, lovely.
She is lovely.
She's a beautiful woman, as a matter of fact. I do. I like her a lot, as a matter of fact. But Johnny Carson on there, they couldn't find a catcher's mitt, so they couldn't do it.
Could you imagine how good? Yeah. That's very funny.
It is. That is going to do it. We'll talk to you tomorrow.